to 35 yards on the regular season in his punts. Gets off a decent punt, coming down to Patrician at his 38. Makes a move before he's going to be wrapped up on the play by Richard Davidson, one of the offensive linemen. Gaels will get things going from their own 39-yard line. Starting offensive line this week, Matt Lapointe moving out to left tackle, Blake Serio at the guard, Mike Sullivan having missed the last 3 weeks back at center. Derek Morris moves back from right tackle to right guard, and Matt Kendrick back after missing a couple games. He's at right tackle. Aprile and Carroll, the wide receivers. Chapdelaine back in this week along with Scott McDonnell at the slots, and Jesse Andrews, the starting running back along with Aaron Dowd. First down handoff goes to Andrews, and he's going to be met in the hole with the tackle that time as Mark Fidani. Bill, let's talk a little bit about some of the things we can expect to see from Andrews out of the backfield this afternoon.
Pat Sheehan says he's not the same power runner as Grantham, but he's a little quicker to the hole, more decisive perhaps to the hole, and I think you're going to see early on maybe some jitters from him too. Will be very careful not to fumble.
2nd and 4. McPhee out of the shotgun, looking over the middle. Had time initially. It's going to be wrapped up, sacked on the play by Mark Fidani. So already a couple tackles for Fidani, a loss of a couple yards on the play, and it's going to make it 3rd down and 8 to go.
That's a coverage sack by Laurier. They had good coverage on the receivers. McPhee couldn't find anybody. Pat Sheehan also said to us before the game starts, pretty much 1 out of every 2 plays, Laurier will do something up front, whether it's a twist or a stunt or a blitz.
Walmsley on to punt the ball away, averaging close to a little over 37 yards on the regular season. And gets away a nice spiraling punt coming down to Anthony on the near side, and actually goes out of bounds at the Laurier 23-yard line. So after introducing the starting Laurier offense on the first series, the Gaels starting defense, Corey Dyer back in at left end after missing last week's game. John Miniacci, Andrew Sauer, and Derek Wigan, the front 4. Christoph Smith and Josh Sultana at the corners. TJ Chase Dunawa and Matt Webster, the halfbacks. Ben D'Andrea at the safety. Sabarin, Laporte, and Sean Farrell getting the start at the linebackers. Phantom up under center. Play action fake. Looking far side. And the ball a little bit underthrown, but coming away with a catch. A nice play by Anthony, able to out-battle William Zed on the coverage there.
Zed had good coverage, was step for step with Anthony, but when he turned to try and find the ball, and you'll probably see it here on the replay, Anthony gave him just enough of a push. It's not a penalty, but he used Zed's momentum to get him away from the ball and then made the catch. Good confidence builder there for Phantom.
33 yards and a first down into the Gaels' end of the field. Quick look out here near side. He's got it complete to Isaac Dell. And Dell's going to be wrapped up after about a 5-yard gain. Make it a 6-yard gain.
So the first series, Laurier runs. Says to the Queens defense, we're going to try and run the ball. Now they come out in this series, deep pass, and then a short drop, quick release by Phantom. We're seeing a good mixture early on by the Laurier offense.
Credit him with a 5-yard gain, 2nd and 5, Gale 49-yard line. Again, play action, pressure, and he's got it complete. Juggling the ball as he falls to the ground is Wilson. Justin Baronitis providing the pressure that time for the Gaels. Baronitis back in after missing several games through the middle of the season. Baronitis probably one of the best games of a Gael in that first matchup of the two teams at the beginning of the season. It's going to make it 3rd and 2.
Laurier, I think, a little upset with the spot there. It was bobbled, but where he landed looked like it was closer to the 45. I think 3rd and 1, Laurier goes for it, but 3rd and 2, they're going to punt, try and continue to win the field position battle while in this first quarter going into the wind.
Pfeffer gets another wobbly punt coming down to Patrician, and he bobbles it at about his own 15. The ball's still on the ground. And the Gaels do recover.
Fortunate there. Patrician took his eye off of it, then fell on it and didn't really cover it up. And the Gaels very lucky there. But if I'm Laurier, I'm pleased with that second series. Move the ball down, now forcing the Gaels to a long field with the wind at their back.
Again, it's Jesse Andrews at Arn Pryor District Secondary School. At the running back this week for the Gaels, first down completion to Justin Chapdelaine. Makes a move up across the 25. He's going to pick up about 8 yards on first down.
Great play there and a scheme. Aprile takes the defensive backs deep, comes out of the slot. Chapdelaine comes underneath. The secondary worried about the speed of Aprile, who they didn't face in that regular season meeting earlier in September. And that's the dimension. Chapdelaine didn't play last week, so he should be rested.
Chapdelaine, 7 catches, 176 yards, and a touchdown in that first game. It's Andrews, play action, fake to McPhee, coming out near side. He's got the first down as he gets knocked down by Odom.
I think the Gaels might want Billy McPhee not to take the tackler on head-to-head, but good run, good fake, using the defense's knowledge that the Gaels might try to get Andrews involved early in this football game, and he just made the read option, kept it, and gets the first down, and a nice first down of the game for the Gaels offense.
On the regular season, McPhee carrying 11 times for 39 yards. From the 33, it's going to be a handoff. Andrews trying to get around the far side, and he's unable to. Gets stacked up at the line of scrimmage. Ben Ivory in on the tackle that time for Laurier.
Exact same play as the last one. Read option. This time McPhee kept it in Andrews' midsection, and Andrews, as you said, the Laurier defensive line not fooled at all.
Patrician in for Gleben here on second down. If we take a look at the starting Laurier defense, Ivani, Mizan, Browers, and Gilmore, the front four. The linebackers, Galpin, McWhinney, and Bosch. Secondary, Webster, Schultz, Aki, Philp, and Roosh. Second down, completion, far side to Patrician. He's going to be stopped shy of the first down. Stepping up to make the tackle is Felix Odom. And this is one player we've already called a few times here at the beginning of the game. A little bit nicked up after last weekend's loss to McMaster, but Gaels head coach Pat Sheehan saying he expected to see a lot out of that secondary man this game.
And he makes a nice tackle. He gave a big cushion to Patrician, and then came up and made a nice tackle to keep the Gaels short of the first down. So again, this is what we expected. We expected these two teams, their defense, to trade punch, counter punch.
Walmsley, a high spiraling punt, coming down to Anthony at his 30. He gets up across the 35, out close to the 40. Webster in on the tackle that time. It's actually going to give him the 39-yard line to get this drive started. Bill, we go back to that first matchup between these two teams in the second week of the season. It was a tight struggle throughout most of the first half, but the Gaels picking up a couple of touchdowns late in the second quarter, able to get a decent lead going into the half in that game.
And that's what I think you really saw the Laurier youth in that first meeting. They played right with the Gaels and had a couple of breakdowns in coverage in a 2-minute span in that late second quarter, and the Gaels exploited it, got a lead, and then with their defense and the struggles of the Laurier offense, were able to make it and stretch it into a pretty easy win. But things have changed. That was week 2. We're now into the first week of the playoffs, and while this Laurier offense is still trying to find its way, I think certainly early on, seeing Phantom, he just seems to have a little bit more poise than what I saw from Emmons in that September game.
This time for the first time this afternoon out of the shotgun. Phantom so far 3 of 3 for 37 yards off that last drive. It's going to be a counter handoff going to Dylan Campbell, trying to get around the far side. He's going to be stacked up after about a 2-yard gain.
Good work.
Miniachi in on the tackle.
Good work by Sam Sabarin. He comes up, he occupies one of those offensive linemen, and that allows the flow of the defense to come over and bogged that play down to the 2-yard gain it got.
That'll be a little bit of a mix-up in the backfield. At the handoff, it's going to make it second and almost 8 yards.
And now Laurier, the last play as well, going out of the pistol.
Phantom looking near side. He's got it complete to Anthony. There's a flag in
This
the
might be a hold.
Backfield. It is a hold. So that's going to negate that play. It's going to make it second down over again and 18 to go.
And I'm thinking it's the center Yakis.
Again, this is just
Wiggins,
Yankis' second start of the regular season. His first last week in the loss to Mac. Laurier struggling at the end of the season, winning over Waterloo 12-0, losing to Western and Mac 56-3 and 43-0.
Murray Drinkwalder, you see there, our referee for this afternoon's game, making the call, and it was Wiggin that was trying to get some pressure, and Yankis grabbed some jersey.
Going back over those last 3 games, Laurier not scoring a touchdown. You have to go back to their game against Guelph, where they had their last touchdown. 2nd and 18, and he's getting pressure from Miniachi, rolling far side, throwing it back over the middle, intended for Campbell. Just really threw it at his feet, and it's going to make it 3rd and 18, and bringing on Pfeffer to punt into the wind for the 3rd time this afternoon.
And while that ends up being an incompletion, that's a nice play by Phantom. It would have been easy to try and force something in there, and now all of a sudden it's a turnover, and I think that's what he gives them that Emmon didn't in that week 2 game. Emmon tried to force some things, and Phantom just threw the incompletion, made sure it couldn't be called grounding, and leave it to your defense to try and hold the fort.
On the season, Phantom, the only of the 3 quarterbacks throwing more touchdowns than interceptions. And a nice high punt going to come down to Patrician at his 35. Some speed up across the 40. He's going to be tackled there, though, at about the 43. Terrell Wilson down on the tackle.
Sorry, Donnie, give Pfeffer some credit. He's hit some nice punts into this wind.
And Billy McPhee jogging on once again so far this afternoon. McPhee 2.
There you see the line
2
on
for
Pfeffer.
15.
8 of 12 field goals in the regular season. So, as Donnie alluded to earlier, this offense of Laurier's doesn't get many scoring opportunities.
The lowest scoring offense on the regular season. McPhee looking deep downfield for a prelay, and just simply a little bit overthrown on the play. With the coverage that time was Austin Rouge.
Almost looked like McPhee thought Aprile might take that pattern deeper, and Aprile sort of cut it off a little bit when he came in on the post. Should mention that the Laurier people were telling me before the game that this is the 2nd lowest scoring Laurier offense in school history. So just further proof to the struggles that this young offense in purple has had for the Kitchener school.
2nd and 10 for the Gaels from their own 44. McPhee resetting things. Has time. Now forced to scramble out far side, and he's going to get sacked all the way back inside the 30-yard line. Again, a good job done by the Golden Hawks secondary as McPhee forced to tuck it under, and he's going to be sacked. They're going to spot it back at the Gale 30-yard line, a loss of 14.
And the linebacker, McWinney, freshman, makes the sack, and this young man, the Gaels tried to recruit him as well. A huge coup for Laurier to get him out of in the recruiting wars, and he's going to be a special one for Laurier for the next few years.
So Walmsley now on to punt once again. It's going to come down to Anthony at about his 37. Steps around a Gale there. He's going to get up close to about the 45 before being snowed under at the 44.
Want to get back to that sack, Donnie. What we talked about with Phantom. Phantom under pressure, got rid of the ball, didn't take the sack. Billy McPhee, I think, tried to force something, held on to it a little longer. Good coverage again by Laurier, but we're going to see it here. Maybe an opportunity just to throw it away, and then once he got scrambling, he was in all sorts of trouble, and Laurier ends up with a big loss presented to the Gaels, and as a result now are starting to turn around the field position battle going into the wind.
27th sack of the season against McPhee. Fake draw. And this time it's going to be James Fracas at quarterback. And they're going to have a completion to Rashad Latouche. And he picks up a first down into the Gaels' end of the field.
So
a gain of 13 yards on that play.
Fracas, the grandson of the great Gino Fracas. Very mobile.
Again, this time it's going to be an inside handoff and wrapped up in the backfield. It's going to be Latouche once again. And he's going to lose a couple yards on the play.
And it's interesting. We talked with head coach Gary Jeffries of the Golden Hawks before the game about what the mindset is as a coach of what you do with your quarterbacks when you are struggling in that position. We asked Pat Sheehan, do you expect to see a shuttle system? Both of them said no, and here we are, third series of the game for Laurier, and we've got Fracas in.
2nd and 12 at midfield. Fracas back to pass, has time, looking far side, and it's going to be knocked away. Making the play for the Gaels that time is Josh Sultana.
And he was probably the closest one to catching that pass. Fracas a little amped up, put it a little high for his receiver. But again, I think if you're Laurier, you like what you're seeing here in the first quarter. You're going into the wind, and when you play at Richardson Stadium, this north-south wind really plays an instrumental part in football games, especially as you get into the later stages of the autumn.
Pfeffer punting the ball into the wind, far side, comes down to Patrician inside his 20, up across the 25, and he's got room. 35, 45, midfield, 45. He gets knocked down by Pfeffer, but he's pretty down the far sideline. 15, 10, 5, touchdown.
Pfeffer outkicked his coverage. Both punters were angling punts towards the sidelines. Gaels picked up on it first, and we're going to see it here. Pfeffer, really great punts into the wind, but look, his coverage team not down there yet. The wall set up. There's the sideline. The rest of the coverage team had pinched in. Pfeffer made an attempt. Good, strong running by Patrician. Still can't be upended, and a big, big special teams touchdown. Good work by Coach Scott Velberg on that special teams.
And 94-yard punt return by Patrician. Walmsley on for the extra point. Chapdelaine back as holder. He puts it up and through, makes the score 8-0 now with 4:27 left to go here in the first half. Patrician on the regular season, he had a couple other punt returns for touchdowns. One was 91 yards, but that now the longest of the season, a Gale down after that extra point.
Might be Derek Morris. And the Gaels have had injuries all season on the offensive line, so we'll see how Derek is, if it is indeed Derek Morris. But, man, you talked to head coach Gary Jeffries before the game about the youth on this Golden Hawk squad, and they're doing such a good job in the first quarter. They're going into the wind. They're even winning the field position battle. Pfeffer's punting the ball well into the wind, and the Gaels return 194 yards for a touchdown. See how Laurier reacts to that body blow. And here it is again. And watch, as the purple bodies are going down, they're not there yet. And Patrician, the wall set up. It was obviously a wall call to that sideline. Patrician caught it, breaks one tackle, and away he went. Returned one last week against Toronto. And it was indeed Derek Morris that was down, but he's coming off under his own power. But if you're the Gaels, you like to see that, scoring a touchdown through special teams.
So Walmsley on to kick the ball off. Odom and Anthony back return actually checked that. It's Sean O'Neill as the other return man back there. It's going to come down to O'Neill at his goal line. Up to the 10, 15, 20, And he's going to be stopped as he makes a no. He gets away. He gets up close to the 25. Webster had him in a scrum, but he's going to get up to about the 27-yard line. And Bill off of the opening kickoff. Anthony now being replaced by O'Neill on the returns.
Yeah, interesting, because it was Odom that made the mistake on that opening kickoff, and they're certainly punting on the punts by the Gaels. They've all been going to Anthony, but he also starts at receiver and seems to be one of the favorite targets early on here for the quarterbacks of Laurier. So maybe just trying to buy him a rest.
This time it's Fracas in for his second series at quarterback. He completed his first pass for 13 yards to Latouche on the last drive. Looks far side, quick pass, and he's got it complete for about 8-9 yards.
It's a good pass by Fracas, because number 90 for the Gaels, Andrew Sauer, looked like he was going to knock that one down at the line of scrimmage. Fracas, very strong player in the Kitchener area in high school, won a high school championship in his last year, also an OVFL championship with the Kitchener Predators in the summer. So this is a young man and comes from a football background. As we mentioned, his grandfather Gino Fracas.
Isaac Dell on the reception that time. Baronitis at the line of scrimmage may have been offside. He's going to be involved along with Sabrin on the tackle.
I'm Laurier. I want to know why there's no flag there, because it looked like number 14 for the Gaels, as you said, Justin Baronitis, jumped into the neutral zone.
Wilson on the carry, stopped for no gain. It's going to make it 3rd and 1. And big
Laurier.
call here
It is.
as Gary Jeffries brings in the jumbo package. It's going to be Asante Mizan and Alex Browers. Mizan, a defensive lineman, coming into the huddle here.
And this is, circle this. This is a huge play with 3:01 left in the first quarter. Gaels make a stop here. They're taking over at the Laurier 35, going with the win.
Fracas under center.
It's a good yard.
Going to be handoff to Wilson. It is fumbled in the backfield. It's going to be recovered by Dell. However, it's a loss of a couple yards, and the Gaels take over on the Laurier 33-yard line.
Fracas, young quarterback, just got out too quick, and I don't think the exchange good. No, that's just dropped by his running back. Take that off of Fracas. He put it where he should. Number 30, Tyrell Wilson, just didn't close up on the football. I don't think he would have made it anyways.
Gaels coming through the interior of that line of Mulder and Yankus. This is Yankus just his 3rd game of the season. Yankus his 2nd, Mulder his 3rd game of the season.
And what do I love calling here, Donnie? You take over at the 33 of the other team. You've got some momentum. I try to get a prelay deep or even Chapdelaine. Maybe split them on opposite sides. See if Laurier can double cover them both.
2:45 left to go here in the first quarter. 8-0. The lead for the Gaels off of a 90, actually it's going to be called a 93-yard patrician punt return touchdown.
I want to get back to that 3rd and 1. Gutsy call by Gary Jeffries, and people can criticize it, but I like it. Granted, the part of the field it was in, maybe you could second guess that, but he's telling his team, we need to be able to get a yard. And they couldn't on back-to-back plays. So with a young team, he's telling them, I've got faith in you.
Well, you're also the underdog, and you go back a few years ago when the Gaels were the underdog against Laval, probably about 2 or 3 third-down conversions, allowing them to extend the lead and hold on. 1st and 10, it's going to be a pitch out near side to Andrews. Flag at the line of scrimmage. It's his best gain of this afternoon. Down close to the 25.
One of the Gale receivers left early, I believe. But we'll see, because they are supposed to whistle that dead. That's the new rule in this year.
Offside against Laurier.
And that's why I was wondering if it was Laurier, because if it's an offensive player, it should be whistled dead. And it looks like the way they're pointing, it's number 48, Ben Ivany.
The 2nd penalty this afternoon for 15 yards against Laurier. So it'll move the ball down to the 28-yard line, 1st and 5.
And you see there, Billy McPhee, a couple TD passes last week against Toronto.
On the season, McPhee, 10 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, almost 2,000 yards passing. 1st and 5, high handoff. Andrews takes it, rumbles inside the 25. He's going to be stopped shy of the 1st down.
When you're 1st and 5, you've got a young running back. Why not try and get the first down here along the ground? Give him some more confidence. Let him touch the football. Now you've got 2nd and 2. Laurier has to respect both run and pass.
On the regular season, Andrews 15 carries, 105 yards, a long of 29. He caught 2 balls for 4 yards on the season.
They've got Chapdelaine and Aprile on different sides.
2nd and 2. Handoff inside Andrews. He's got a hole inside the 20. Great job done that time by Sullivan and Morris, the right side of the offensive line there, along with Matt Kendrick back in.
Bit of a counter look there. We'll see it here on the replay. Good pulling action there by Kendrick. You saw him blow away the linebacker. And Andrews, good acceleration through the hole. Boy, I tell you, a touchdown here with just the ball on the ground would be another big momentum statement by Queens.
4 carries, 15 yards so far for Andrews. Pass near side. He's got it complete to Aprile. Makes a move at the 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Giovanni Aprile. Slipped on his break, but then able to break away from the tackle of Chris Aki, and it's a 17-yard Gale touchdown.
Great call, Donnie. Aprile slipped as he was coming out of the break of his pattern, and it had to make a great catch because McPhee put some heat on that pass, caught it, and then Aprile did the rest, broke the tackle. Poor tackling by Aki. He's got it. You're a corner on an island like that against a great receiver like Aprile. You got to make that tackle, and once he broke it, it was a touchdown. So you're Laurier right now. This is not how you wanted the last 3 minutes to go. You're in this football game in the first quarter. Punt return touchdown, then stopped on 2nd and 1, 3rd and 1 inside your own 35, and now the Gales score a touchdown, and you go from 1-0 down to 15-0 down.
So 2 touchdowns in just a little over 3 minutes. Maybe not as quickly as what happened in the second quarter in that first game, but the Gales able to now break into a healthy lead. Certainly what you want to see as we look at that replay again from Aprile. But Bill, certainly what you want to see is the favorite. You want to get up early and not give the underdog a chance to stay in the game.
No, from Queen's perspective, this is the exact start you wanted with the wind at your back. A big play on special teams, big play from your defense, and cashing in on the turnover. And now you've got a young team on the road, on the ropes. Laurier now needs to answer. They're going to get the wind at their back in 69 seconds, but their offense needs to do something it hasn't been able to do the last 3 weeks and score some points.
And coming down to Oldham at his 3, up to the 10, 15, makes a move across the 20, tries to get a tackler up across the 30, and he's finally going to be knocked out of bounds by Walmsley, but a good job on the return that time by Oldham for 30 yards, making a couple of moves as he got up through the scrum and out to the 34.
Second straight kickoff by the Gales, where I think there's been some suspect tackling by that coverage unit of the Gales. You'll see here, Oldham breaks a couple of arm tackles. He's a big, strong, fast young man. Carmichael was one of those tackles he broke, but Donnie mentioned earlier in this quarter that Odom's playing a little banged up, and it certainly looked at. He doesn't have the same explosiveness that we've seen earlier this season from him.
James Frackett's at quarterback, up under center. It's going to be a pitch out. Coming near side with it is Dell, and he's going to be wrapped up by Sam Sabourin. Sabourin on the regular season, the 6th leading tackler in the OU, 39 solo tackles, 16 assisted.
He's a machine. He comes through and gets a hold of someone. He's bringing them down. We'll see where this penalty is. It's a chop block, a delayed knee block against the Golden Hawks, and it was thrown by one of the deep officials, and that's what they're watching for. So now it's a question, do the Gales want 2nd and more than 10 or 1st and 25? And I think you take them back. The way you've got them on the ropes right now, make them get 25 yards on 2 plays. No, sorry,
it is first
second.
down over, I think, is how they've spotted it.
Well, Murray Drinkwalder showed 2 fingers, but you're right. And that's what it should be, 1st and 25.
Already the third penalty this afternoon against Laurier, 30 yards. Gaels yet to be flagged so far.
Screen pass here might be a nice call by Laurier.
And whistling again.
Yes,
I think they are going to say second down indeed.
Well, he signaled second, and I thought that's what he was. So it must have come after the play. And the flag did come out late. So this is it. So now it definitely screen or draw territory.
Fracas in the shotgun. Back, looking, far side. He's got it complete to Dell. Actually pops up in the air off of his hands. And almost coming away with an interception was William Zed.
But you know what? For Laurier, I like that. Fracas threw that ball confidently. His receiver almost turned that into an interception. It's a high pass, yes, but I like the pattern. It's deep. They're going for the first down. And he threw that confidently. And here's an interesting move by the Gaels. They call timeout, stopping the clock with 25.1 seconds left. Laurier was still going to have to punt the ball. I think Pfeffer's giving up 2 here. But if he is, then they're going to have to kick off into the wind. And that's the important thing, unless he can run off 25.1 seconds. And again, why the timeout was used.
Well, Pfeffer, as we said, rushing for a couple of first downs on fakes.
He's not running anywhere.
He's not going on this one, but just going back to the regular season as the officials come over to the sideline to confer with Laurier head coach Gary Jeffries.
I think they're wondering why it was second down. I don't think Gary Jeffries is questioning the call. I think he's questioning why wasn't it first down. And I think what Murray Drinkwalder is saying to him is the flag was thrown after the tackle had been made by Sabrin.
The other thing, I think, Bill, if you're coming from a Laurier perspective, the down box on the far side was changed after Laurier had already come up to the line of scrimmage, and that may have changed what their play call might have been. As now Pfeffer coming off and checking in is going to be Alex Anthony.
And this is the pure purpose of this is because Anthony's a better athlete, and can he run around for 25.1 seconds?
I don't know.
They want to kick this one off with the wind at their back.
From their 17, actually 18, and Anthony's going to run back into the end zone and try and take off as much of the time as he can, and he's going to be wrapped up for a safety. Coming in to make the tackle for the Gaels looks to be Aaron Dowd.
And I'll tell you, when it rains, it pours if you're Laurier. Anthony's hurt his ankle now. His job, I'm sure, was to run around and try and eat up time, but you'd have to believe that Laurier's coaching staff said to him, but when they come close to you, go down. And he tried to absorb the hit, and he got his leg pinned underneath, and he's been their best receiver here early on. They lose him. Holy smokes. Yeah. And we might be able to see it on the replay. But he's made the only catch. It was a 33-yard gain, but he's back there on kickoff returns, back there on punt returns. He's obviously a good athlete. And I mean, again, you can criticize the Laurier coaching staff for making the switch, but it's important to them to get out of this quarter, and you'll see he hits his own man, and there's his leg. Ooh, man, it got pinned underneath.
So the score now 17-0 with 7 seconds left to go here in the first quarter.
And the Gaels are going to get the ball, right? So a good return here, and you're going into the wind, and they're going to need to help Anthony off. And it's funny. I'm sure Gary Jeffries is thinking on that sideline, you come on the road as a 6th seed, you need a break. And not only are they not getting a break, but it just seems like everything that can go wrong for them is. And he's not putting any weight on his left ankle.
Well, you make a call which could be questioned, and then it really bites in the butt because of the injury. Gaels head coach Pat Sheehan certainly knows what that feels like to a certain extent after last weekend's matchup, leaving Granberg in to try and go for the 1,000 yards, and then gets concussed on the second last play of the game.
But you know what? It's, again, I don't go against Gary Jeffries on that move. For the length of field that the Gaels had to rush at him, you thought he had a better chance to get rid of 25 seconds than Pfeffer did.
Pfeffer is going to squib it. Comes down to Aprile inside his 25, up across the 30, breaks a tackle out to about the 35 before he's going to be wrapped up on the play by Sean O'Neill. Downfield on the coverage, just a little under 3 seconds left to go here in the first quarter. The Gaels, their last play of the first half with the wind, will start things off from their own 35-yard line.
And I would think Laurier is going to play here, that the Gaels, if they're going to take a deep shot, this is their last chance with the wind at their back, and the wind really seems to have picked up a little bit. So I would imagine the defensive backs for Laurier will play deep. So there might be something underneath. There may be a draw to Andrews.
Andrews up to the line of scrimmage, inside handoff to Aprile, up across the 35, 40, gets close to first down yardage. He's going to be knocked down on the play by Chris Aki making the tackle. Looks as though he may be right at the 45, which would be the yards to gain. I expect they're going to need to measure this. They do give him a first down. Aprile on the regular season carrying the ball 11 times for 85 yards. That's a final play of the first quarter. The Gaels with a 17-0 advantage. We take a look at the stats from the first quarter. A little bit of an offensive struggle, if you will, in terms of total yardage. Gaels just 47 net yards, giving up a couple of sacks, which knocked down that total. McPhee 3 of 4 for 32 yards. Of course, that 17-yard touchdown strike to Aprile. Andrews on the ground and carried it 4 times for 15 yards. The Gaels picking up 4 first downs. The Golden Hawks actually 48 yards in total offense.
But 33 of that on one pass play.
And Phantom was 3 of 4 through the air. Fracas 2 of 3 through the air. Struggling on the ground, actually a negative net of 16 yards, factoring in the safety.
I wonder if Phantom got hurt, Donnie, because I just saw somebody for Laurier go into the Gaels tunnel with a jacket on, and I don't see Phantom down on the sideline, and I can't believe from our conversation with Gary Jeffrey and the way Phantom was playing that he would have given up on Phantom so quickly. And so I'm wondering if Phantom got hurt on that play where he threw the ball away.
Because he was being pressured on the play by Miniachi and then just simply
threw it away, but he
at the
did
feet of
take
his
a
receiver.
hit.
Gaels from their own 45-yard line, this time going into the wind. 1st and 10, and it's a fumbled snap, and McPhee's going to pick it up and just fall at about the 43-yard line, a loss of a couple yards on the play.
That was not pretty from the get-go. And we'll see it here. This, ladies and gentlemen, is how it was not scripted to go as a play.
So Gleben out, and Chris Patrician comes in.
I think here's an opportunity, Donnie, for this Laurier defense to maybe do something for their team. Get them back in this game, send a blitz, do something. You know the Gaels are throwing.
McPhee back to pass, looking far side. He's got it complete to Scott McDonnell, well shy of the first down. He gets knocked out of bounds on the play by Chris Aki. McDonnell back in after missing last week's action.
Good safe throw. Gaels just, when you've got a defense as solid as theirs.
Walmsley on to punt for the 4th time here this afternoon. First time going into the wind. And he gets a spiraling punt. It's going to come down to O'Neill at his 35. And looked as though the Gaels were very close to no yards. The ball's fumbled at the end of the play. but they ruled that forward progress had been stopped. So good job by the Gaels coverage team getting downfield and making sure they allowed O'Neill the 5-yard restraining zone.
Here's the difference. Patrician in the first quarter takes a punt that's kicked too far, kicked beyond the coverage. That punt, the Gaels, as you said, Donnie, broke down nicely and made the tackle.
So Fracas continuing at quarterback. Got Latouche in the backfield now coming up to the line of scrimmage. Fracas looking far side. He's got it complete to O'Neill. Up close to first down yardage. Indeed it is, across the 45.
You can see why Laurier is so high on this young man. Very confident back there. Got good protection from his offensive line. Gaels only rushed the defensive front of 4. So now you wonder if the Gaels defense needs to show the young quarterback some different looks, because he's starting to feel a little comfortable back there. Is a first down for Laurier.
Laurier so far have actually outgained the Gaels. However, going for it on third down and giving the Gaels a short field, and then a Chris Patrician 93-yard punt return along with a safety makes the score 17-0. First and 10 from their 46. Delayed draw going to Campbell. Campbell getting outside. There's a flag in behind the play.
It's a hold. There was a Gael there. We'll have to see on the replay who it was, but he was definitely held because it looked like he had read the play perfectly. It was on the left side. I believe it's going to be this left tackle right here. Or no, sorry. Might be right there. It was 58. So unfortunately that's the center Yankus again. The young man is having a tough time early on.
Fourth penalty this afternoon against Laurier. And it's the second time it's negated a big first down play. This time I formation in behind Fracas. Back to pass, pressure, throws it out far side. He's got it complete. However, O'Neill had his knee on the turf, and it's going to be a gain of just 4 yards.
But I tell you, I really like Fracas. He's throwing a good, accurate ball. He's certainly not looking like a freshman quarterback.
4 of 5 for 38 yards. Fracas on the season, 11 of 26 for 166 yards.
I might try and get him out of the pocket. See how he throws on the run.
Back to pass, looking far side. He's going to be forced to throw it away, as providing the pressure that time for the Gaels was Stephen Laporte.
Well, you'd rather get him out of the pocket on a planned play, not from pressure, and good coverage by the Gaels that time. And again, when you're able to get the pressure on the quarterback without coming with extra people, blitzes or stunts, just a standard pass rush, things are going your way at that stage.
Pfeffer averaging close to 36 yards so far this afternoon on 4 punts. This is the first time he's punted since the Patrician 93-yard punt return touchdown. Patrician standing back at his own 25-yard line. And it's a high snap over the head. And Pfeffer is just simply going to run around, go back into the end zone and concede the safety. And Bill, right away, I think back to 1991. And in that play, it was a high snap, went over the head of Jamie Galloway, tried to kick the ball out of the end zone for the safety. And that really was the turning point as the tide swung huge to Laurier in what would end up a 42-22 victory.
Well, I'll tell you, good poise by Pfeffer, because he had time. He could have tried to kick it, but he just ate the 2 points. 19-0's no different than 17-0, other than it's 2 extra points. You're still 3 touchdowns down. Gaels will take the ball at the 35. They won't let Pfeffer kick it off. So just a high snap by Laurier, but again, special teams have now given up 11 points for Laurier.
So 19-0, Gaels at their own 35. McPhee back to pass, looking over the middle. He's got it, bounces off the hands there of McDonnell. who was calling for a flag. The
McWhinney.
coverage provided that time by McWhinney.
McWhinney had good coverage. It looked like he might have been wrapped around McDonald. We'd have to see it on a replay. And I made a mistake. It's 12 points coming from the special teams because the opening kickoff netted a single point for the Gaels. So we'll see here. I don't think we'll see it in time. That's a little late, but I think McWhinney had good coverage there. And as we mentioned earlier in the first quarter, he's a prize recruit for Laurier playing middle linebacker. Pat Sheehan even thinks they're better at linebacker with him in the middle.
McPhee looking far side. He's got it complete to Isaacoff. There's a flag, and it looks to be in the area of a hold.
It's a hold against the Gaels. And I believe it's going to be number 64, Matt Kendrick.
First penalty this afternoon, as it was a nice first down completion to Isaacoff.
So that's what you want if you're Laurier. Now you've got them in 2nd and 20. They're going into the wind. Gaels will want to be conservative, not try and force something and turn it over. And you wonder here if the Gaels don't get any yards, whether they'll have Walmsley give up 2. Try and turn over that field position.
McPhee looking quickly near side. Andrews up across the 30, close to the 35. He's going to be well shy of the first down, though. It's going to be a gain of 9 yards on the play, make it 3rd and 11.
Gets most of that holding penalty back. I think now Walmsley would punt it away. But again, you just got a bonus safety touch on that high snap.
I think he definitely punted away here. Walmsley so far this afternoon averaging just a shade over 40 yards on 4 punts. This is his second one of the afternoon going into the wind.
See if Laurier comes after it.
And it's a low spiraling punt as the Gaels try and get out of the way, and then O'Neill just falls on the ball at his own 46-yard line.
Boy, that was when things are going your way, they really go your way. That Walmsley punt, he didn't hit it well. Hits the ground, bounces, misses Gaels players that are down there on coverage, because if it hits them, it's no yards. And watch, it just takes a right turn, misses everybody, and then goes upwards. Gaels do a good job to get outside the restraining zone, and then O'Neill drops the ball and has to fall on it.
30-yard punt. 1st and 10 from their 46. It's going to be a pitch out near side, going to Dell up across the 50, out to midfield and into the Gaels' end of the field. Close to 10 yards and a first down.
I need to see on this replay. I think this is Yankus, who makes a great block. Didn't see who it was, but Sabrin got blocked, and that's what allowed Dell to get the big gain.
And Greg Nyhoff, an outside receiver, doing a nice job blocking downfield. 2nd and very short here. And Fracas just takes it up over center. There's a flag on the play. Sabrin on the tackle that time for the Gaels.
This is interesting because this comes from the umpire.
And often you would think a hold coming from that official.
No,
It's going to be rough play against the Gaels.
Yeah, I thought that's what it had to be. I'm wondering if it was a face mask. So this is good. If you're Laurier, you're starting to get some offensive momentum here. And you've got a young quarterback who doesn't know any better than that he's supposed to be nervous. And they're starting to move the football. Any points here if you're Laurier would be great.
So a hold on the last possession for the Gaels. Their first penalty this afternoon, negating a first down. And now a 15-yarder moves the ball all the way inside their own 40. Laurier driving here. Fracas under center. Fake handoff, looking far side. And a nice job coming back on the play with Zed, but then there's a flag.
Now,
and I'm almost wondering if this is offensive pass interference, because Zed had the position. And he did not, he had his head turned around. The Laurier receiver on the play is Ethan Loft. And indeed it's pass interference against Loft.
Let's watch that replay again. Because I almost thought maybe it was a flag that didn't need to be thrown at all. They were sort of pushing, but maybe it kept Zed from getting the interception. We'll see if we'll get another look at that replay.
So a 25-yard penalty. Loft 6'4", 185 going up against Zed. Just 5'9", 186.
Great coverage by Gaels number 13.
So 2nd and 25, delay draw going to Dell, and he gets hit in the backfield initially by Miniachi, and then Dyer and Wigan wrapping him up.
Dyer with good work there, because number 66, Arangaran, just couldn't keep Dyer away from making that tackle. The Gaels with good surge, and now 2nd and a whole bunch for Laurier. What do you do with your rookie quarterback here?
2nd and Napanee. Dyer 2nd in the OU on sacks with 10.5 on the regular season. The former Trojan out of Gananoque Secondary School. Fracas back to pass, looking over the middle, and he's got it complete to O'Neill. A high pass. O'Neill climbing the ladder to come away with the reception, but he stopped well shy of the first down. Coverage provided that time by Ben D'Andrea.
But I'll tell you, good protection by the Laurier line, because Laporte came on a delayed blitz. Fracas stands in there. Watch this. I really love the way Fracas is playing. Delivers a high pass again, but that's a nice catch. And what you've done is allowed Pfeffer at least an opportunity to hit this one and maybe try and coffin corner it. Because if that goes incomplete, he's punting from his own end, probably inside the 35. Now he's standing just close to midfield.
Would this be the area of a fake like what they did in the first game?
Yeah, it'd be 14 yards.
Another high snap. Pfeffer able to come down with it and gets a beautiful punt away. As you said, Coffin cornering it, coming down to Patrician inside his own goal line. Gets out to about the 3-yard line, but a beautiful punt that time by Pfeffer of 41 yards after a high snap.
Now, the interesting call here, and they did call it. I was wondering whether Patrician caught that in the end zone. And it is in the end zone, so it'll come to the 20. That's a big break. Patrician was close there to maybe catching that before the end zone.
Interesting build in this afternoon's action that it's been Patrician doing all the punt return duties. As we remember back to last week's game against U of T, it was Patrician and Carroll that shared those duties.
Well, it's hard when on this second return of the game he runs 93 yards for a touchdown. Hard to have him sit down.
And as we're going through getting things ready for this week's action and taking a look at the playoff histories of these two teams, a lot of the Gaels have played in a couple of playoffs going back, some of them as far as the 2009 season. Not a lot of experience.
Yeah.
And I think that played there, the experience of Patrician, making sure that he received the ball in the end zone, and then knowing that even just getting it out of the end zone was just a 4-yard return. They actually get it up at the 20. 8:09 left to go here in the first half. Gaels out in front, 19-0. Billy McPhee so far this afternoon, 5 of 7 for just 45 yards. The 1 touchdown. And in backup action, it's Jesse Andrews has carried the ball 4 times for 15 yards. As Granberg again out this week after suffering the concussion on the second last play of the Toronto game at the end of the regular season. 3 receivers to the far side. Play now whistled in. McDonnell coming near side. Play action fake. And McPhee is forced to scramble for it and gets up for about a 3-yard gain. Good job done once again by the Laurier Golden Hawk secondary.
I'll tell you, when they played in the regular season, the Laurier defense had a very good game. They had a 2-minute span where they had a couple of breakdowns in the secondary, but right now they're having great coverage on those Gaels receivers. They're not letting anybody get open, and McPhee's having to tuck the ball, and he smartly took what he could get and then slid and didn't risk an injury.
It was the lowest Gaels rushing output of the regular season in that game. 2nd and 10, forced to tuck it and then throw once again. He's got it complete to McDonnell and then stretches up close to the first down marker. The ball coming away at the end of the play, but it looked as though it was after his knee was on the ground, so give him 7 yards and a first down.
And on this play, McDonnell his pattern came right in front of Aprile. You see Aprile sort of 7 yards behind, and I was wondering who that pass was to, but McDonnell makes the catch.
But just the 5th first down of this afternoon's action. McPhee has time. He's got it complete on a dump off over the middle to Chapdelaine. Breaks away from a tackle and then gets up close to about a 6-7 yard reception. Giltonen with the initial hit on the play. It's going to be good for, give him 7, 2nd and 3. Chapdelaine's second catch of this afternoon's action. It's going to be a stretch handoff to Andrews coming near side, and he's going to get up close to, but looks to be a little bit shy of the first down. As that time it was Gilmore and Webster on the tackle.
Now here's the big call for the Gaels. I don't think there's any hesitation. A lot different than an 8-0 game that you're trailing, as opposed to being up 19-0. And it's also not 2 yards you're trying to, or a full yard to get. It's probably about a half a yard that you're trying to get here.
Now, one of the strengths, though, of this Laurier team is that interior defensive line.
Yes.
A couple of big boys there in Mizan and Browers, both over 270 pounds. But it's McPhee under center for this play. Quick handoff to Andrews. He's got the first down and more as the Gaels ruck forward for about 9 yards on that play as we've moved into the rugby playoffs for the Gaels this weekend. Jesse Andrews 8 yards on that first down carry.
And again, statements being made here in this first half by the Gaels, and you saw they had Miniachi in as an extra defense or extra offensive lineman. He gets congratulated as he comes to the sideline by his defensive mates for some great blocking there to help Andrews pick up the first down.
Out to their 48-yard line. Fake handoff, pitch out near side to Aprile midfield. He's got a first down into the Laurier end of the field, down to the 51-yard line, and a nice play action fake handoff to Andrews, and then quickly gets it out to Aprile.
And another Laurier Hawk gets up hobbling, and that's Mitchell Bosch, their outstanding 5-year linebacker, who Pat Sheehan said has been playing hurt all year. What a warrior is what Pat Sheehan said. And he's dinged up now as well.
The longest drive so far this afternoon for the Gaels. It's a delayed draw to Andrews, and looked to be a little bit of a mix-up in the backfield there as Andrews does a good job just getting back to the line of scrimmage, actually going to pick up about a yard on the play.
And I would imagine that that's the rookie running back just forgetting how that play fakes the block, then he came for it. But you're right, Donnie, it seemed very late in developing, and now it's 2nd and 10. But again, I think barring a turnover here, the Gaels have accomplished what they wanted to at the minimum out of this series, which is get the ball into Laurier territory.
Clock moving down, close to 4 minutes left in the first half. McPhee looking far side for Aprile, and a great job coming back to knock it away as Austin Rouge, as he had him open initially, and then maybe just going into the breeze there that time is going to make it 3rd and 10.
You know, and it's a tough thing to teach receivers, even those of the high quality of Giovanni Aprile. But I wonder there if Aprile turned his head a little too soon, in the sense that he tells the defender then that the ball's coming, and that allowed the defender to knock it away. But again, I think if you're Queens, you'll take this series because it got you out of your own end, and if Walmsley hits a half-decent punt, you've switched over that field position.
Nice snap from Nucci. Walmsley, a spiraling punt is going to force O'Neill back close to his 10-yard line. And then a great job done by the Gaels coverage team, quickly getting downfield on the play as Jeff Motati, a backup linebacker. And it's going to be Laurier, who were hoping to have had good field position after they pinned the ball. It was Patrician able to get the ball out of the Gaels end of the field. The Gaels driving from their own 20 into the Laurier end. And now it's Laurier starting from their own 20. 3:53 left to go and counting here in the first half. And it's been Fracas who going once again at quarterback.
I think Laurier, but there's 10 on the game clock.
And too many men.
It's not too many
Or
minutes.
maybe a
An
late
ineligible-
substitution.
I think it's an illegal substitution, but again, that flag usually doesn't get thrown until the ball is snapped. But
And also,
anyways, Gaels will take that.
you know, mix up on the Laurier team right off a change of possession, getting a flag like that. Fracas under center. It's going to be a handoff going to Wilson, and he's going to be stopped after a short gain.
And now you put Fracas in second and long again. And if you don't get the first down here, do you tell Pfeffer to give up 2 again?
So Laurier's struggles on offense continue. As we said, have yet to score a touchdown this game and haven't scored a touchdown in their 3 games to end the regular season. You had to go all the way back to the first half against Guelph for their last major. 2nd and 12. Fracas out of the shotgun, back to pass. Now running far side. There's a hold in behind the play, and Sabrin wraps up Fracas after he gets out to the 25-yard line in a 7-yard gain. And throwing his hands up in frustration in the air is Yankus, the center.
And we'll watch it here on the replay. And it's right there, number 94 for the Gaels.
Corey
Dyer had his shirt pulled. And so we'll get the 3-minute warning, but now it's...
Well, I would almost expect he'd decline the penalty as he's 5 yards shy of that first down.
And you know why also, Donnie? Because it's now, by declining it, it's also in an in-between area. If you take the penalty and the Laurier Golden Hawks don't get the first down, then they're definitely giving up the safety. But here, maybe you've put Laurier in a situation where they might punt it away, but I would doubt it. I think if Pfeffer doesn't go into the end zone and go down on a knee, I'll be surprised.
Now they're from their 23 actually. They're going with the wind. The last time they gave up the safety was due to the high snap.
But I just think the returns, especially the one for the touchdown, obviously, if he hits this well with the wind at his back, he's going to outkick his coverage again.
But the wind has really picked up here late in this first half. At game time, it was around 16, 17 kilometers an hour.
Sorry, Donnie, but you're right. I mean, at some point, Gary Jeffries has to say, we can't just keep giving up safeties. I think it was a few years ago when the Gaels played McMaster in a playoff game, and McMaster gave up 4 or 5 safeties, and they were just paper cutting themselves. It's just bit by bit getting yourself into a hole. No.
So Pfeffer is going to punt it away. Spiraling punt, going to come down to Patrician inside his own 40.
Yeah.
And a block in the back there as he got up for about a 3-yard gain, as it's going to be Tim Godber with the special teams play.
And he didn't need to. It was that player, and you'll see it here. It's the Laurier player number 7, I think, that gets pushed in the back. He's very subtle, and you can see that he didn't want to do it right there. But 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Laurier had some pretty good coverage there.
I'm actually going to call it a clip. So it's going to be the 15-yarder instead of the illegal block. So that's going to move the ball all the way back to the Gale 26-yard line.
Don't agree with that one. I think it was just a push in the back. Certainly wasn't an unnecessary roughness type penalty.
So 2:40 left to go here in the first half. Gales with a rather healthy 19-0 lead. However, it's a Chris Patrician 93-yard punt return touchdown. And then Laurier giving the Gaels a short field, allowing them to get their second touchdown. McPhee, draw to Andrews, and again, a slow developing play on the timing on the draw. And Andrews is going to be stopped after about a 1-yard gain. And Laurier looked to be calling a timeout here.
Yeah, I think a good call by the Golden Hawks. Try and save yourself as much of the clock as you can.
2:33 left to go in the first half. The other game in the OU with the quarters this week, Windsor and Western in London. If the Gaels win this afternoon's game, then they would go on to Guelph to take on the Golden Hawks. And the Gaels would certainly be looking for some revenge. It was a 28 8-3 first half lead, and then a punt block turned the tide in that game, with the Golden Hawks coming all the way back for a 33-28 win in the penultimate game of the regular season, and that allowing the Griffins to be the second place team. And coming into this season, a lot of pundits probably thinking that it was going to be McMaster, Queens, and Western 1, 2, 3, but Guelph slipping in to that spot. And if that's the matchup next week, then it would be the winner of the Windsor-Western matchup would then travel to Hamilton to take on the McMaster Marauders, who've been number 1 in the OU and the CIS throughout the regular season. McPhee on second down, coming near side, and he's got wide open for a long play. Isaacoff, and just a big breakdown in coverage.
It's a great play call by the Gaels too, though, Donnie. Rolling out McPhee, and look at his eyes. He's looking to the sideline. All the cover men go that way, and Isaacoff slips into the open spot.
So good for 28 yards as the Gaels wide out, getting all the way out right near midfield. His first reception that's counted this afternoon had one negated by a penalty call earlier in the first half. It's going to be the handoff to Aprile going around the far side, and he's going to be tripped up after about a 4-yard gain. Chris Aki on the tackle for Laurier.
Nice tackle by Aki. He came from the other side of the field. And the Gaels had that nicely blocked. If Aki doesn't make that tackle, Aprile gets a lot more yardage.
So 5 yards on that play. Ball spotted just outside the Laurier 50-yard line. Clock now moving under 2 minutes in the first half. Handoff to Andrews, stretch far side. He uses his speed to get down to about the 45. There is a flag on the play coming from deep in the secondary. And it's a hold against the Gaels. So after no first downs for the first 17, 18 minutes of the game, there's been 4 here in the second quarter, and for a total of 50 yards. And that's going to make it 2nd and 15. And that time, a nice job by Andrews getting out wide. And then a good job done by Sullivan, Morris, and Kendrick. However, the hold is going to negate the play. Clock stopped on the penalty call. 1:45 left to go in the first half. Isaacoff out wide, near side. McPhee looking over the middle. He's got to complete the Chapdelaine at midfield. However, he's going to be stopped by McWhinney. And McWhinney again very slow to get up. So a 7-yard completion on the play. But the Gaels, after the penalty call, negating the first down, are going to be forced to punt the ball away once again. And Bill head coach Pat Sheehan saying that last weekend's game for Laurier, a lot of players coming off sore and injured against McMaster, and certainly seeing that again this week. A high punt by Walmsley, forcing Odom back to his 15, and then a beautiful special teams tackle downfield quickly for the Gaels is Justin Gleben, and again a great job done by the Gaels coverage team, making sure that they stay out of that 5-yard restraining zone.
And that's really the difference of this first half, Donnie. Special teams for the Gaels have been perfect. Lauriers have been off just enough, and it's cost them some points.
So points and yardage. You go back to that Patrician play, not just the 93-yard punt return touchdown, but returning that punt, stepping into the end zone, and then getting it out to the 3, allowing the Gaels to get it out spotted at the 20. 1st and 10, Laurier from their 24. Fracas forced to tuck it and then pump once again to Nyhoff. And he's got it up complete for a first down out to the Gale out to the Laurier 32-yard line. Fracas has done a decent job, 6 of 8 for 63 yards. 13-yard completion that time. Fracas forced to double clutch it and throws it near side and just simply gets rid of it. Going with those sort of 2 or 3 step drops, and then covered that time, and then forced to scramble near side, overthrowing his intended receiver, Nyhoff.
So play, I think, here, Donnie, for Laurier, because you don't get a first down here and a pass goes incomplete. Gaels are going to have a good minute to try and get some more points.
Fracas again with a quick look, pumps, throws it over the middle of the field and high. O'Neill tried to go up for it, throwing into triple coverage. Back there for the Gaels, Chase Dunawa along with Laporte and Mitchell. But it did, Bill, good call, as you said, just before that play. Just a little over a minute left, and with the incompletion, the clock will stop. 1:06 left to go. Patrician back once again to return this punt.
And the Gaels have a timeout left as well. So you almost think that on second down you might have wanted to run a play where you could force the Gaels to at least use their timeout. But you're also down 19-0 and need to make some things happen.
So Pfeffer getting a high, kind of wobbly punt away. Comes down to Patrician at his 40. Looked to be a no yards flag. Patrician up across midfield, and another great punt return. Now it's either a hold or a no yards.
Yeah.
If it's a no yards, the Gaels obviously would take the return.
I would think it's holding the way. No, it's no yards. So it'll be declined. So even more now, the Gaels are at the Laurier 47. They've got 53.5 seconds and a timeout. You would think they can get at least 3 points out of this. And again, it's the special teams.
And in London, late in the first half, the Mustangs up 27-12 on the Windsor Lancers. So Patrician's second big punt return. Big, at least in terms of giving the Gaels great field position. Fake to a prelay, and then Andrews takes the inside handoff, goes around the far side. He's going to pick up 8 yards and close to a first down for the Gaels.
And he got out of bounds, so that should stop the clock. Great play call there, working off that counter that goes to a prelay and faking it to him, and now Andrews goes the other way.
And that zone read play, as a Washington NFL fan, seen a lot of that this year. Ball now inside the Laurier 40-yard line at the 39. And the wind has died down a little bit here for the Gaels. Fake handoff, a prelay, and he's hit and tripped up on the play, and they're ruling it incidental contact as Tanner Philp, the defensive back on the coverage. They might have ruled it may have been just a little bit too high.
I think that's what they're saying, that he wouldn't have caught it anyways, but this one's this is tough, because at first it looks like they're tangling feet, but then there's an arm thrown in there, and we just out of the picture, but he puts his arm on a prelay as well.
An interesting call for the Gaels as 3rd and 2, and it's not a long 2. As we've seen them more often than not go for it here. Now, the other thing, though, you've got a 19-point lead. You don't want to give Laurier any hope here.
And remember, they faked a punt the Gaels did against Toronto last week, and that's what Gary Jeffries is yelling to his special teams right now. So Walmsley, I think the perfect punt here is outside the end zone.
O'Neill, the lone man, back to return, and Walmsley's going to coffer corner it. A beautiful punt by Dylan Walmsley's going to bounce out of bounds at the Laurier 3-yard line. So special teams, Bill, as you've said many times throughout the game, the Patrician return for the touchdown, the Patrician return to get it out of the end zone, and then the other return to set up that drive, and then a super job done by Dylan Walmsley to punt it out of bounds at the 3. So 35 seconds left to go here in the first half. And Laurier have 107 yards to go for what would be their first touchdown in over 4 games of game time. Fracas is going to hand it off to Wilson, and he gets smacked by Laporte as he comes through the hole.
So now you use your timeout.
You do if you're the Gaels here.
Yeah.
About a 4-yard gain.
So now you stop the clock, and now Laurier, no matter what they do on this play, they're going to have to punt it.
So I would expect
Unless
now
they get
you
the
give up
first
the
down.
safety.
Well, it's second down. They could still try and get the first
but
down.
if they don't get the first,
oh, then they
definitely give up the safety.
Oh, for sure. Though, I would say this, Donnie. You run the play. If it's a run. I think if you're Laurier, you run the ball here so that the clock gets wound in if you don't get the first down. Then you call your last timeout with 1 second left on the play clock. So you might be able to get away with punting it away. And as long as it doesn't get returned for a touchdown or there's a penalty to extend the half, I think you could get away without giving up the safety. But the question becomes, the important part to that is you've got to run the ball again. Or a pass play that's going to get completed and keep the clock running. You get a first down, moot point.
Well, it's easier to get a first down through the air, but if it's an incompletion, as you say, that'll give the Gaels, with no timeouts left here, a chance to get the ball back once again.
And if it's incomplete, I think then Laurier gives up the safety.
It's going to be a pitch out. Dell going around the far side, and he stops inside. Good job done by Dell to not get knocked out of bounds. He's going to lose about a yard on the play.
But that's okay because the clock will get wound in. So you could call the timeout, but now there's a Laurier player down. So that'll stop it momentarily, but it'll get wound in when the player gets up and off the field. But if you call your timeout, then there'd be about 8 seconds left. It's interesting though, because I think if you're Laurier, you could get away with punting this one out of your end zone, but at the same time, you normally in a game a team would give up the safety. So I'm of the belief right now that Laurier's down 19-0. They can't afford to give up any more freebies to the Gaels.
The lowest scoring offense in the OU in the regular season. So I agree. This would be a case where you punt it away and just hope you don't get another big patrician return.
Yeah. And even if you do, as long as he doesn't score, you would think it would take the full 7 seconds. And Jeffries is right down at the far end here, near an official, which makes me think, and he's looking at the clock.
Richard Davidson, the injured player, now off the field. Clock now moving under 20 seconds.
He's going to call the timeout with 1 second on the play clock.
And no, folks, he is not icing his own kicker.
And the clock is continuing to run, so they're going to have to reset it now. So it should be at 8.3 seconds, because it was 27.3. And it should be at 8.3 because he called it with 1 on the play clock. And so with 8.3 left, I mean, if I'm Queens, I might come out. Yes, I come after this. Because what that will also do is will force Pfeffer to get it away quicker. And maybe it now becomes a shorter punt. You're not going to have the ability for Patrician to get the big return. I don't think you need here if you're Queens. What you need is Patrician to catch the ball and set it up so Walmsley has a shot at a field goal on the last play.
Drinkwater now coming over to the sideline as he's conferring with the timekeepers. Right now shows only 4.9. Bill, I agree with you. Should be about a little over 7 seconds here.
It should be 8.3. If you'd let the clock run in the full 20 at 27.3, even my limited math skills would be 7.3. You call the timeout a second earlier, so it should be 8.3. So I think the clock here at Richardson can't be reset, so it will take 3.4 seconds or 3 seconds to start.
You were right the first time, Bill. We'll give you the 3.4.
Wow, but can
now,
anyone down there count to 3.4?
Gaels look like they're going to try and come for it. Pfeffer just gets it off. And it's going to bounce downfield at about the Laurier 40-yard line, and then right away going down on a knee.
You know
now there's a no yards flag.
So you're going to get the field goal.
Exactly. The clock, the half cannot end on the penalty. So you will get an untimed down here, and a good job not going for the return, because if he had got more than 5 yards on that return, it would have meant that the penalty would have had to be declined.
No, not necessarily. They could have taken the penalty, declined the return. So as soon as the no yards flag came out, Gaels getting a shot at the field goal.
So Aaron Dowd, the Gael, in with the pressure that time on Pfeffer. And now, Dylan Walmsley coming on for his first field goal attempted this afternoon in the regular season. Walmsley 13-20 with a long of 48.
But what it does do is it brings him 5 yards closer, because they do take the penalty.
So the ball, Nick Nucci, the long snapper, Shaptelin, the holder. The ball spotted right at the 40-yard line on the far hash mark. Good snap, good hold. Walmsley boots it up and through for a field goal on the final play of the first half, and another special teams break for the Gaels.
Bingo. What have we said all first half? And it gets punctuated on the last play of the half, special teams. And it's been all Gaels in that respect.
So the final score at the end of the first half on Gaels Game of the Week and the OU playoff opener, Queens holding a 22-0 halftime lead.
And welcome back to Richardson Stadium for TVCogeco's Gaels Game of the Week. It's OUA University quarterfinal football action. And the Gaels lead 22-0 at halftime. Bill Miklas along with Donnie Lewis. And Donnie, you said it at the end of the first half. I'll say it to open up the second half. First 30 minutes, you're the Laurier Golden Hawks. You're losing this game because of special teams.
The opening play of the game, a 65-yard single, goes over the head of Alex Anthony in the end zone. He has to concede a point and that. And then the Gaels at the end of the first half, Laurier punting the ball away from deep in their own end, hoping that they would be able to run off the last 7 seconds. You have a no yards penalty, and that moves the ball 5 yards further forward. And then you have a Dylan Walmsley 40-yard field goal. And oh, by the way, you throw into that a 93-yard touchdown on the punt return by Chris Patrician midway through the first half, midway through the first quarter, sorry. And that, you know, really, that has been the bulk of the game for the Gaels, and that they had the one touchdown on the Giovanni Aprile 17-yard completion, but that was set up when Laurier decided to go for it on third and short.
Gaels had choice to start the second half, and they've chosen to receive. Laurier will take the wind at their back in the third quarter. So, Donnie, comeback by Laurier. If it's in the cards, they need to make their move here in the third quarter with the wind at their back.
They certainly need to, and they need to somehow start to get some offense going. And that this was the lowest scoring offense in the OU in the regular season, was the 9th ranked offense in terms of yards gained, 9th throwing offense in the first half. And for the Gaels, they were the best pass defense and the second best scoring defense in the regular season in the OU, and they certainly have continued that here in the first weekend of playoff action.
And only Alberta scored fewer points than Laurier in the country this year. And the Golden Bears didn't break 100. They only scored 82 points this season. And their season mercifully came to an end last night.
So the Hawks, the Golden Hawks, the Golden Bears struggling. The Golden Gaels, on the other hand, right now, with a 22-0 lead at the end of the first 30 minutes. And the other game this afternoon in the OU, it's 44-12 for Western over Windsor. A couple minutes left to go in the first half there.
Ronnie Pfeffer to kick it off and get the second half started. Gaels 30 minutes. from a trip to Guelph for next Saturday's semifinals if they can maintain this lead. And it will be a prelay just near his end zone. Straight ahead, runs into a tackler, will get close to the 20, maybe the 18. Good coverage downfield, and it's number 80, Alex Sanchez, that makes the tackle. So out comes the Gaels offense, led by their quarterback, Billy McPhee. Threw a touchdown pass in the first half.
McPhee 10 of 14 for 106 yards in the first half. Andrews, the leading ground gainer, 9 carries, 37 yards. A couple of sacks. The Gaels netting 150 yards offense in the first half.
Andrews lines up behind McPhee, who's in the pistol. Straight back into the flat. McDonnell will get a couple. It'll be second and long.
I think one of the things for the Gaels, one of the keys for them here in the second half is to try and get the offense untracked. They did struggle in that first matchup against Laurier on the ground.
So 2nd and 8. Again out of the pistol, McPhee. Straight back. Time. Over the middle. Caught by McDonnell. Hit right as he caught it by Aki, but it's enough for a first down. Good play all around. The Gaels just a little bit better on it.
Strength of the arm of Billy McPhee that time. Had time to pass, as we see here on the replay. Nice pocket, able to look downfield and then zings it in, and McDonnell holds on well for the first down.
McPhee, delayed draw to Andrews. Andrews, look out. 40 to the 45, runs over Odom as he goes out of bounds. It's another first down, best run of the day for Jesse Andrews.
17 yards, and the Gaels doing a good job moving the ball with the wind, into the wind here. As we see the delayed draw there, allowing the play to develop, and then Andrews using his speed to get outside and then knocking Odom out of bounds as he got up to about the 47-48.
Andrews, the native of Arnprior. First career start due to the injury to Ryan Granberg last week late against Toronto. Takes the handoff again, cuts up, nice moves. Andrews drags the tackler a little bit. Should be a gain of 6. 2nd and 4.
And you can put a little maple syrup on the pancake block delivered there by Mike Sullivan, as just simply knocking the defensive lineman over and giving Andrews a big hole there.
So it'll be 2nd and 4. 2 minutes into this third quarter. Gaels leads 22-0 and have the opening possession of this second half. Close to midfield. Out of the pistol. McPhee quickly knocked down at the line by number 50, Warren Gilmore. And that shuts down the Gaels' drive.
Tough break for the Gaels. As you can see, Gilmore come through, and if you're not able to get the pressure as a defensive lineman, you're taught to get the mitts up in the air to try and knock the ball down. And that's what he did on that play. As Walmsley on to punt the ball away for the 9th time this afternoon, averaged 37 yards in the first half.
The Gaels do move enough that Walmsley a little further downfield almost had that punt blocked. It takes a sideways bounce. O'Neill picks it up and gets tripped up at his 35. Not much of a return, not much of a punt by Walmsley, but he'll take the net. And Laurier will start with their first possession of this second half. If you're just joining us, in at quarterback for them right now, number 12, James Fracas, who replaced the starter, Steve Phantom, in the first quarter. We do not know the injury that took Phantom out of the game, but we do think he was hurt on a second down pass. Out of the gun, Fracas quickly completes it to Nyhoff. It'll be a gain of 5, 2nd and 5.
In the first half, Fracas 6 of 10 for 61 yards. That's Nyhoff's second reception here this afternoon. A total of 19 yards.
Fracas, the second-year student out of Waterloo, Ontario, played at Sir John A. Macdonald Secondary School. This is his first year of eligibility. Certainly the biggest game he's been in his young career. Play action fake under pressure from Wigan, and he won't get away. try to play action fake. It worked for a second, but Derek Wigan got through the line and made the sack.
For Wigan on the season, he had 5 sacks in the regular season. His first here this afternoon.
So Pfeffer will punt it away again. Still Patrician, the lone return man for Queens. Gaels don't look like they'll come after it. Pfeffer, wind at his back, hits a pretty good kick. And Patrician makes a nice catch. Straight up, look out! Into the open field, still going. And it will be a tackle inside the Laurier 50 at the 49. A flag was thrown. Let's see if this is, it's a clip on the Gaels. And it's going to be spotted pretty much right where Patrician got away from the first wave of tacklers. We'll see it here on the replay, Donnie.
See Patrician retreating to his 30, and it looks to be just at the start of that play.
If we could rewind, it was right at the corner of the screen. It's not the first block. And stop it. Okay, now start it. And slow it down, slow it right there. Is that block at the top. So a good call by the officials. And negates another big return by Patrician. McPhee, short drop. Fires, caught, close to a first down by Patrician. Just shy of the 30-yard line. It's enough for a first down.
Really, the only negative this afternoon, Bill, right now, if you're a Gale fan, that's the 5th penalty here. All in the second quarter and beginning here in the third for a total of 65 yards.
And the Gaels did pick up a bunch of penalties last week in the game against Toronto, after being one of the least penalized teams in the country.
Already the 6th different receiver.
McPhee changing the play. Straight back, delayed draw. Andrews breaks a couple of tackles, still going, gets good top 5 yards out of that. It'll be 2nd and 5. He was dragging Laurier's number 51, Drew Galpin, along for the ride for a couple of yards.
Galpin, the leading tackler on the regular season for the Golden Hawks. And good job done that time by Andrews, as he was initial contact taking place in the backfield and able to get up to make it 2nd and 5. Now up to 66 yards on 12 carries this afternoon.
McPhee straight back, looking to his right now, man open, complete. And McDonnell breaks a tackle, still going, will be dragged down, but not till he gets to the Laurier 49.
As we see McPhee, now that time able to get the ball up and over the outstretched hands of the Laurier defensive lineman.
And we've seen some poor tackling in the first half by the cornerbacks for Laurier. Aprile's touchdown on a pass from McPhee came off of breaking a tackle by a cornerback.
26 yards, and now McPhee up over 150 on the afternoon.
Again to his right, this time tipped at the line, and that by number 48, Ben Ivany. And it'll be 2nd and 10. So as you said, Donnie, this Laurier defensive line has gotten to some of the McPhee passes, knocking them down before they can get to the receivers. So 2nd and 10. 9.5 minutes and counting left third quarter. Gaels leading 22-0. McPhee rolling to his left, throws that one low. McDonnell, did he catch it? Yes. No, now the other official comes in and overrules it, says it hit the ground. It wouldn't have been enough for a first down anyways. So it'll go down as an incompletion. And Walmsley will punt it away again.
Interesting, McDonnell, the most targeted Gale receiver here this afternoon. But McPhee taking what the defense from Laurier is giving him here. If you go back to the regular season, it was McPhee at his best game of the season against Laurier.
Walmsley. Good high kick. O'Neill. Bobbled it. Did he get it back or did the Gaels get it? Initial ruling looks to be and is Laurier ball. But again, special teams letting Laurier down.
34-yard punt on the play as we see on the replay here. And again, a great job done with the Gaels coverage unit, able to get downfield, and then O'Neill lucky to come back away with that, as it looked to be Gleben was the man downfield quickly for the Gaels.
So Gaels led 22-0 at the end of the first half. A single off the opening kickoff for Queens got them going. Chris Patrician returned a punt later in the first quarter, 93 yards for a touchdown. Aprile and McPhee hooked up for a touchdown pass. And the Gaels have added a couple of safeties and a field goal on the last play of the first half from Dylan Walmsley and have their 22-0 lead against a Laurier team which was the second lowest scoring offense in school history and the second lowest scoring offense in the country this year. And they're down to their third string quarterback according to the depth chart, but really all three of their quarterbacks were on equal footing coming in. Steve Fantham started the game, played 3 series, seemed to get hurt on the second down play on that third series. A pass play that went incomplete, didn't return after that. Fracas took over and has gone the distance, which is surprising because Eamon, who's listed as the backup, was very highly recruited and talked about in the preseason. Fracas under pressure, rolling out, and he'll just throw it away. Is that grounding? That should be grounding and is called grounding.
Justin Baronitis coming in on the blitz.
Now the interesting, sorry Donnie to cut you off, but he threw that in the end zone. So if this is grounding, this might be a safety.
As we said earlier, Baronitis having a great game in the first matchup against Laurier.
I have to say, if we look at that again, I don't see where the receiver was in the area, but because he's certainly just throwing this away.
No,
and he wasn't in the end zone, so it wouldn't have been a safety, but it would have moved the ball back to the 2.
Well, Dell was in the area code, so.
Yes, area code.
Not Bell, but Dell.
Very witty in our last broadcast of the year. Shecky Green has shown up. Fracas on second and long. Deep has a man too far. And they're definitely... That was Sultana on the coverage. I was going to say they've been going after William Zed, but that time they didn't.
Interesting to see how they're using Baronitis here this afternoon.
The Gaels.
For the Gaels. That time blitzing off the left side. And he's a guy that if they're in a dime package, they're using him in coverage underneath. And if they want to force it at the line of scrimmage, he's done a good job in the last 2 plays there.
So Pfeffer to punt. He's standing at his 1. Will he give up another safety? Gaels should get great field position if he punts it away. And the way Patrician's been returning punts, it might end up for 6. Gaels don't come after it. And they almost got Pfeffer, who's going to run. He's going to get the first down. This is a great play by Ronnie Pfeffer. Still going. Gets hit hard. And they're going to call a flag. Laurier is irate that there's an illegal it's a chop, a crack. It's a low block, I guess, against Laurier.
It's against Rashad Latouche, and they better be, I think it's after yards gained, so they certainly get the first down. They better be careful about picking up an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. Here as Latouche
he took off his helmet
off.
And if the referee had seen that, Latouche might be done for the day. Because he took off his helmet right near the official. Laurier's coaching staff is upset. We'd have to see what the call was.
Pfeffer is down on the sideline as he got hammered, I believe, by TJ Chase Dunaway as he came out to the sideline. But they're checking out Pfeffer, as you can see on the sideline.
And they're going to wave off that flag.
So it is a first down, and maybe the first time this afternoon where it's a Almost another miscue on Laurier's special teams as the ball was high. This is about the second or third time it's been a high snap. One went over his head. And
now
then we see Pfeffer scrambling near side. And it's really...
Oh, it's right there, and it's a good no call because it's a follow-through.
It was hit from the side.
It's a follow-through. If we run it back a bit, we can freeze it and show, but it's a follow-through on another block. You can't block a man below. Okay, stop it and bring it forward slowly. And it's right here. The block there on 90, and he follows through and gets a prelay low, and that's what Murray Drinkwalder saw. Good work by the officials to get together, and there's the hit on Pfeffer. Not a dirty hit by Chase Denawa, but one that has left the Laurier kicker down.
And there's a delay here because now he finally is able to sit up. And it's good news for Pfeffer as head coach Gary Jeffries comes over to take a look at him.
I think trying to say to him, you're my kicker, not my fullback.
But we saw Pfeffer in the first game do that twice. Now, from what I recall, those were more designed.
Yes. But it was a pretty nice play, I tell you. Very athletic play by Pfeffer. Whether it was called or not, he had to get away from one would-be tackler.
It's the first down in the second half for Laurier.
Fracas out of the gun. Gaels coming. Quick pass. Caught. Zed makes the tackle right away. It's number 17, Ethan Loft, that caught it. So it'll be second about 4. Make it 3. 7.5 minutes and counting left third quarter. And Pfeffer sitting down on the bench right now. I'm sure trying to get the stars out of his head. And it'll be interesting too if the Golden Hawks don't get the first down here. Latouche is warming up on the sideline. He's the backup kicker. Pitch out. And not getting the first down is Wilson.
Sabern again on the tackle there for the Gaels.
Unbelievable, Donnie.
As Wilson had the corner and then Sabern sprinting from his linebacker position up to stop him 2 yards shy.
And Latouche will come in to punt. I think Jeffries was thinking about going for it.
I think he still is because it looks as though Fracas is still out there at quarterback. This is where I'd be stunned at midfield if you don't go for it here.
Good call. I mean, he went for it at his own 35 in the first quarter. Why not with his... And they will go for it. It's a good 2 yards. Full house backfield behind Fracas. He'll keep it under pressure, throws it, incomplete, intended for Latouche.
Stephen Laporte on the coverage that time for the Gaels, doing a great job because it wasn't a strong pass. If he gets in there a half second earlier, it's pass interference.
I think he's looking for Peary, the fullback, right off the bat in the flat. It was taken away. The deeper pattern was to Latouche, and as you said, it wasn't a well-thrown pass. Well, look, there's
pressure with Dyer.
Yep, and then just didn't get a lot off. Fracas wanted interference called, but I don't think that was interference.
We saw in the first half the Gaels on a third down turnover, taking it in right away for the touchdown. The Aprile one this time go at midfield, a little bit further to go.
And into the wind. McPhee fires too high for Isaacoff. And we've seen this year, Donnie, when McPhee is off, it's high with his passes.
And that time, trying to put a little bit extra zip on it because the wind has really picked up here in the second half. 6:18 left to go here in the third quarter, and if nothing else though, the Gaels have done a good job here other than the Pfeffer scramble for the first down. That's their lone first down of the second half, making sure that the Golden Hawks don't get any momentum going with the wind.
2nd and 10 Gaels. McPhee fires, caught, but again, McDonald has to go to the ground to get it. So once he falls to the ground, the play is dead. So it's a gain of 5. It'll be 3rd and 5, and the Gaels will punt it away. McDonald, if he catches that, McDonnell, sorry, if he catches that, I think at least has a shot at getting the first down. But for the second straight series, McPhee is sort of low and behind the big guy. And I think that's what his head coach, Pat Sheehan's telling him right now on the sideline. And Walmsley gets away an end-over-end punt that's going to bounce. And O'Neill scoops it up straight ahead. Got a good block, but will not get much further. And Laurier will start this series at their 17.
Again, Walmsley doing a decent job that time. Almost 39 yards on the punt into the wind. Now that included the bounce.
And again, Pfeffer still being attended to on the Laurier bench. The starting kicker for Laurier.
And so they bring Latouche over to practice his punting duties.
Fracas under center on 1st and 10. Straight back. Time. Throws complete to number 27, Dylan Campbell. It'll be enough for a first down. That was a long throw from one hash to the far sideline.
It was also a nice job done that time by the Laurier offensive line, because it was a slow developing play to get the ball out to the far side. There's a Gael defender down on the field. As we see on the replay here, the front five giving them time. And then Laporte coming up to make the tackle, but not before 12 yards and a first down were gained.
Again, the Gaels go on to win this game. They travel to Guelph next Saturday afternoon for the, I would imagine, the first of the two.
It'll be 12:30
finals
for that game
on the Score national television network. So that's, and then that would be followed by McMaster against the winner of the Western Windsor game, which right now looks like it's going to be Western in a breeze.
44-12.
So 1st and 10, Laurier. Flag comes out. This should be offside against the Gaels. Deep pass. Fracas has a man, and it's knocked away by Webster. Good defensive play by the Gaels, but I think this is going to be against Queens for offside.
Beautiful coverage by Webster, just simply riding the hip of his receiver, as we see on the replay here.
No, it's against Laurier, and that throws me off, because my understanding in the rules this year is offsides against the offense should all be whistled dead. And that flag came out and the play was allowed to return. But I'll tell you, Donnie, Laurier has struggled so far this afternoon, but James Fracas looks like a keeper at quarterback.
8 of 16 for 80 yards.
But that was well-thrown football.
Beautiful ball, and a couple of the last passes here in the third quarter. Granted, it is with the wind, as he certainly is about 3 or 4 yards shorter than McPhee. Doesn't have the zip going into the wind, but good job here in the third.
On 2nd and 10, under pressure, he steps up, trying to buy himself some extra time now. Laporte comes after him, and he'll be knocked out of bounds. He will not get the first down. It's a gain of about 5 from where they've spotted it, maybe 4, but it's third down nonetheless, and we'll see the punting abilities of Mr. Latouche, because here he comes. We know this, if he decides to run the football, he's used to that.
As Sabourin coming over to finish off the tackle of Fracas along with Laporte.
Do you think Mr. Latouche thought that he would get into the football game as a punter?
Latouche's first punt of the season.
And with the snap issues that Laurier has had. And, oh, great catch by Latouche, and a pretty good kick. It's going to go over Patrician's head and out of bounds. They may have found a punter. Oh, my.
57-yard punt by Latouche. Now, granted, it bounced over the head of Patrician.
I don't care. That's a heck of an athletic play, though, Donnie, because that snap, for a second, looked like it might go over his head. He makes a one-handed catch.
Took me all the way back to the late 80s, and Jock Climby, the Gaels punter, a couple times I remember would do those sort of, if it was a bad snap, would just simply almost roll out to one side and punt the ball downfield.
This trip down memory lane brought to you by Mr. Donnie Lewis.
But it does certainly flip the field position here.
Yes, yes. And the Gaels still with 4 minutes, 2 seconds to go into the wind.
And the key here this afternoon has been the Gaels' special teams, along with the fact that they've been able to really maintain field position here in the third quarter going into the wind. But the last couple of high snaps have almost resulted in some positive plays. The big punt by Latouche. Now, of course, the high snap before that was the play where they lost Pfeffer. But he also picked up 21 yards in a first down.
And that and the pass to Anthony in the first quarter, really the two biggest offensive plays that Laurier's had this afternoon. Which, again, probably is yet another reason why they trail 22-0 in this quarterfinal game. And Anthony, who was their best receiver through a quarter and a bit, he got hurt near the end of the first quarter, conceding a safety on a punt. Andrews takes the handoff, won't get back to the line of scrimmage. Good work by the defense there. Gilpin in on the tackle for Laurier.
The timing of that play when they're doing the pitch out to Andrews just hasn't seemed to quite be there all afternoon. The down clock showing third down. I believe it is just second as they now look to switch it.
Laurier brings in an extra defensive back. It's Fritz, number 41, and he replaces Padani, one of the defensive linemen, number 42. So they're going to go with a 3-4. McPhee back to pass. McDonnell's got it for a first down up near the 35. So the extra DB, Fritz, who makes the tackle, can't make the coverage. And Fritz will go off as the sticks move for Queens.
And they're finding something this afternoon with McDonnell now his 7th reception for 69 yards. As he, along with Chapdelaine, as we see the replay here, had time looking over the middle. Chapdelaine and McDonnell back in this week after sitting out the Toronto game last weekend.
Patrician comes wide to the left. Isakoff wide to the right. 1st and 10 Gaels. McPhee, time. Looking to his right. Long throw. Isakoff catches it. Gets away from one man and will fight for 8. It'll be 2nd and 2.
McPhee has time. Gets it out, and that time almost short hopping it to Isakoff, but Isakoff doing a good job breaking back to the ball.
Isakoff and Patrician will come off on 2nd and 2, so they've got some bigger bodies in there like Dowd. So the Gaels certainly would seem to be showing run, and Andrews will take the pitch out, gets a good block, cuts it up, breaks a tackle. Looked like he got dragged down by his face mask, but he's got the first down beyond the 45 to the 46.
And Alex Carroll doing a nice job sealing the corner there, sealing the outside linebacker trying to come in to make the tackle.
So the Gaels 1st and 10, just above their 45-yard line, under 2 minutes left for third quarter. Andrews straight up the middle, dragged down from behind. That's Bosch who makes that tackle. It's a gain of 1. 2nd and long.
This time as we see Bosch coming across from the left side, able to make the tackle for just a 1-yard gain on the play.
Out of Langley, BC, Mitchell Bosch playing in what will, if Laurier continues to trail in this one, his last game of his CIS career. McPhee, 2nd and 9, under pressure. He'll take off and run straight up the middle. Got hit as he slid by McWhinney. That close to being a penalty, and it's short of the first down by a yard. And I think the Gaels upset because they've been telling McPhee to slide when he sees a hit coming, and he still took a hit. Now, he slid sort of into McWhinney. I think that would have been a tough one for McWhinney to get called for. And they're going to bring the big boys on, are the Gaels. They're going to go for it. Miniachi, number 28, Aaron Dowd, number 27, Justin Gleben come in. So the Gaels will go for it on 3rd and a yard. When they went for it in the first half on this, it was a handoff to Andrews. Gleben and Dowd side by side in front of Andrews, behind McPhee in the backfield. Motion goes left side. Andrews, look out, he's got some room. Here goes Jesse Andrews. He'll be knocked out of bounds by Bosch, but not until he got the first down, way down into Laurier territory inside the 35.
And a beautiful block by Justin Gleben, allowing Andrews loads of space here. As we see, just finishing off and sealing and almost knocking two players backwards there.
And Andrews starts to get in the rarefied air of possibly a 100-yard game.
Now up to 94 on this afternoon.
Ball spotted at the Laurier 32.
Go back to that first matchup against Laurier, the lowest output on the ground for the Gaels all season. Granberg only able to gain 55 yards that afternoon, but 2 TDs.
Andrews again. This time he'll get a 2 or 3. Actually, they'll mark him for just a yard gain. McWhinney in on that tackle.
You see on the replay here, getting into the backfield quickly to slow him down was McCallum, and then McWhinney finishing him off.
This will be the last play of the third quarter, so the Gaels have done what they wanted to, and that is get the win back, and they're still leading by the margin that they led by at halftime. Play clock running down. McPhee just gets it off, fires over the middle, caught by Chapdelaine. Chapdelaine to the 25. Dragged down by Aki. Good coverage by Aki. It'll be short of the first down by a couple. See if the Gaels go for it or whether they'll let Walmsley kick the field goal. They'll have the change of ends to think about it. But I would guess with the wind at their back that Walmsley will get a shot at about a 32-yard field goal. 22-0 was the score at halftime. It stays that way as we head into the last 15 minutes.
But Bill, as you said, the goal there is to make sure you don't give up any points, and they had 150 yards at halftime. They got 148 in that quarter alone as they really started to get the offense on track. No points to show for it, but certainly able to win the time of possession battle and make sure that Laurier could not get any momentum as we move into the fourth quarter here. Walmsley on to attempt what would be his second field goal of this afternoon.
So he'll put his kicking tee down at the 32 of Laurier. Chapdelaine will hold. If he makes it, it'll make it a 25-0 Queens lead and make it more than a 3-touchdown lead against a team whose offense hasn't scored a touchdown in almost a month.
Now 46-12 for Western over Windsor. So right now, next week, it looks as though it'll be Western against McMaster and Queens against Guelph. And that really, if you take a look at the regular season, these were the 4 best teams in the OU. The Gaels will be wanting to avenge the 33-28 loss that they had in the second last game of the regular season. Guelph scoring 30 unanswered points from the midway point of the second quarter on through the end of the game.
And we talk about special teams in this one. It was special teams that turned that game around. A block punt by Guelph got their momentum going, and they ended up winning the game. And with it, got the bye and the right to host the semifinal next week. Queens 15 minutes away from making the trip up to Guelph for that meeting. Chapdelaine puts the pull down, and Walmsley puts the kick through. The rookie is pretty much automatic from that range, and it's 25-0 Gaels, 13 seconds into the fourth quarter. And I'll tell you, Donnie, gives us a second, and we'll talk more as this quarter goes on. But those two semifinal matchups, yes, McMaster and Guelph got byes. McMaster has been clearly the best team in the conference this year, the defending national champs. But I'll tell you, if you gave me Western and Queens in those matchups next week, I like my chances.
Well, certainly. And, we always take a look at, we mentioned it off the top, the last 2 seasons, the number 1 team has not won the OU. And that Western, everybody thought last year would be the dominant team. Yes, they got shut out by Gaels in the last game of the regular season, but that was when they were sitting practically half of their starters. They did not manage to win the EH last year.
Fracas out of the pistol. Handoff. Breaking one tackle was number 27, Campbell. But then he's brought down. Be like second and long for Laurier. We should mention, though, Donnie, the last 3 years, the top seed has hosted the Yates Cup final. The Gaels in 2009, and they beat Western in that classic. Mike Faulds against Danny Brannigan, 43-39, and then Western winning at Ottawa in 2010, and then last year McMaster on the route to their Vanier Cup won in London at Western. So the 1 seed usually wins their semifinal, at least the last 3 years. Fracas under tons of pressure, throws and complete. Zed looked like he was going to knock it down. Instead, it's caught by number 19, Scott Campbell. And it's a first down, Laurier. Good work by Fracas to keep that play alive with his feet and then deliver a pass that's caught nicely by Campbell.
As once again, tons of pressure coming through from the Gaels front four, front five. Just the second first down of the second half for Laurier.
Fracas straight back to pass. Again under pressure over the middle, knocked away. It was intended for number 32, Josh Peary, and then knocked away at the last second by Chase Denawa. And TJ making a nice late break on the ball. And I think dropped his mouth guard in the process, but's found it.
It was Chase Denawa who had that big physical play, knocking Pfeffer out of bounds after he had that 20-yard gain.
And the kicker for Laurier has not returned. Hasn't been needed other than one punt that Latouche did, and did quite an admirable job. 2nd and 10. Fracas under pressure again. This time he'll go down. Pressure came from Wigan, but the sack will go to Laporte, number 45.
A loss of about 6-7 yards on the play.
And Latouche will attempt his second punt.
His first one, a 57-yarder with the wind. And this time, for the first time this afternoon, the Gaels have Patrician and Carroll back to return.
Well, I think the thought here, Donnie, perhaps this is a guy that's not used to punting. It's his second career punt, and he's going into the wind, so he might make an error here in how he kicks it.
A couple high snaps this afternoon, too.
Good snap there. Latouche hits a short end-over-end kick. Scooped up by Patrician. Doesn't get much on the return, but the Gaels will start just shy of their 45. 12:40 time left in the game. And the Gaels in control right now, 25-0. Bill Miklas along with Don Lewis. Our last TVCogeco broadcast of the year, as the Gaels, if they win, will be going to Guelph next week. And even if they were to win and Western won, giving the Gaels home field for the Yates Cup on November the 10th. That would be televised by The Score. And then the Gaels, if they win the OUA, could host the Canada West champion, which might be a rematch of the 2009 Vanier Cup with Calgary here at Richardson Stadium. Andrews, 12-yard gain up the middle. Takes a big hit from Aki, but not until he breaks the 100-yard barrier. And what a day it's been for the youngster out of Arn Pryor. Great blocking up front.
Up to 107 yards this afternoon.
Gaels in Laurier territory at the 52. McPhee, delayed draw this time to Andrews. He breaks one tackle, still going. He'll get 3. It'll be 2nd and 7.
Still say, though, Bill, the timing that they have on those sort of slow to develop plays, the draws and the pitches and that kind of thing, not the same for Andrews as when it's just simply the straight handoff and letting him use his speed to get going. But he was able to move forward for about 4 yards on that first down play.
It's a gain of 4 actually for Andrews, so it's 2nd and 6 Gaels. McPhee under pressure over the middle, complete to McDonnell. McDonnell gets away from Odom, forced out of bounds, but not till he's at the Laurier 22. It's another big gain, Gaels.
And there's no reason why Scott McDonnell should be able to outrun Felix Odom, but we said off the top that it looked as though Odom was a little bit shaken up coming into this game. And unable to stay with the Gaels receiver that time. McPhee now up over 200 yards this afternoon, up to 215.
Carroll comes wide to the right, Patrician wide to the left. McDonnell goes in motion to the left side. Andrews takes the handoff up the middle, breaks a couple of tackles, fights for 5.
Nice trap block set up on the interior of the Gaels offensive line that time.
And we talked to Pat Sheehan, Donnie, before the game about the pride the offensive line was going to take in this game, because everybody was talking about how the running game was going to suffer without Ryan Granberg in there. It's a great running back, but they felt like they could block well, and Jesse Andrews could have a big day.
On the other thing, I think with that, we see people like Kendrick and Sullivan stepping back in as well this game for the Gaels.
2nd and 6. McPhee rolling out. McDonnell hit hard. Ball falls out, but it was after he was down. It'll be shy of the first down and might bring Dylan Walmsley back on for another field goal.
I think it'll be 3rd and inches here.
Yeah, so they may go for it, and they're going to bring Miniachi, Gleben, and Dowd on 3rd and, as Donnie said, inches. Laurier will send on 56, Micah, 42, Fadani to match the bulk. Gaels ask for a measurement to get precisely how close they are.
McDonnell now up to 100 yards on this afternoon's action. Looks as though they're just inches short. And at the last 2 times, it's been McPhee up under center and then a handoff outside the left tackle that they've been able to pick up some good yardage, with Gleben trying to seal the corner.
And you know me, Donnie, I love play action pass in these situations, especially since Laurier sent in big boys to go up front. Aprile, though, the only receiver, he's wide to the left. Full house backfield. Dowd, Gleben side by side in behind McPhee, who's the quarterback, waiting for play to be whistled in. Andrews, the deep back. McPhee, will he keep it? He will, and he's got the first down as he gets to the 10-yard line. That was just strong surge by the boys up front for Queens. Almost impossible for the defense to stop 3rd and inches in Canadian football.
Gaels now as a team up almost to 150 yards on the ground this afternoon. And one of the things that Laurier have changed up a little bit is that they've switched up a couple of their defensive linemen more at the ends, and that they still have the big tackles up front, but Evany and Gilmore not as big as the starting ends that played in the first game.
McPhee out of the gun, straight back, looking over the middle, and lots of traffic there. It's too high for McDonnell, but there was Aki on the coverage. The umpire was there, and another DB for Laurier. It was actually Gulpin, the linebacker, who was there as well. 9:37 and counting, time left in the game. Gaels leading 25-0, but driving for what they hope is their 3rd touchdown of the afternoon, 2nd for the offense. The other touchdown was a special teams touchdown. Pitch out right side. Andrews gets a nice block by Morse. Andrews still going, dragged down by Odom, shy of the touchdown. They need to score, it looks like, from where the sticks are, just shy of the goal line, so it'll be 3rd and short. Big boys come in again. Gaels won't hesitate. They'll go for it. Worst case scenario, Laurier will be taking over at their 1-yard line.
And Jesse Andrews just about a yard and a half shy of what would be his first touchdown as a Gael.
And number 56 for the Gaels is Mike Sullivan, who goes down.
Now Sullivan is the center, so I guess what you would expect, I would think here, is see LaPointe maybe move over from the center position as he now takes off one of his gloves.
From the tackle position.
Sorry, tackle position. Thank you, Bill. And then maybe Lassard check in as the backup tackle. As we see the Gaels 6'7", 328 backup tackle.
They get much bigger with that change, but obviously there's a need now to work on your center quarterback exchange.
Let's not forget, LaPointe has started the last 3 games for the Gaels at center.
Right.
And he's been their sort of swing lineman, if you will. As Josh Princeton is the other Gael lineman, one of their starters from the beginning of the season, that still is out this week. The Gaels hope to get him back next week. if they can hold on to this 25-point lead here with 9 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter.
And the way the Gaels were talking to us before the game, Donnie, it does sound like they will have everyone healthy and dressed for next week's semifinal game.
And you go back to Mike Giffen was sort of the player the last time, a similar situation, not unlike Granberg, getting hurt in the last game of the regular season. Jimmy Terrian and Marty Gordon coming in the playoff game and picking up some seasoning that time. As we start to take a look forward, of course, it was the following year with Terrian and Gordon leading the way in the backfield along with Danny Brannigan was the Gaels Vanier Cup season. So Jesse Andrews getting some tremendous experience here, going over 100 yards, and hopefully on the next play maybe even picking up his first touchdown.
So Gaels will go for it. The ball spotted at about the 1.5-yard line, just inside the Laurier 2. 3rd and goal. Gaels leading 25-0, 9:10 and counting. Sorry, 9:10, the clock not rolling, left in the fourth quarter.
Looking at the right hand of Sullivan.
McPhee keeps it, beats one man and scores. It was a great call, a great play by number 35 Prudhomme, but McPhee was able to get away from him, and he scores the touchdown. Prudhomme read it right, just couldn't make the tackle.
Olay to Billy McPhee there, able to elude the defender there and then just simply walk into the end zone.
And you can start printing the tickets in Guelph. It will be Griffins Gaels next Saturday as the Gaels make it 31-0 with Walmsley's convert to come. So McPhee is thrown for a touchdown, run for a touchdown, and Walmsley adds the extra point. 32-0 Gaels lead with 9:05 time left in the game. And the 3 seed continues its quarterfinal domination over the 6 seed.
When we take a look at the sideline, it's now Mike Sullivan starting to snap once again, and he's not snapping to Billy McPhee. He's snapping to Ryan Mitchell, as Billy have to start to wonder now if the Gaels don't want to go through the same kind of situation they had losing a player last week in Granberg. There's no 1,000-yard, marker to try and go for this week, is that they've got this game in hand. Do you start to see somebody like Ryan Mitchell come in on the next series?
Well, you would think so, and especially because it's been a long week. Pat Sheehan alluded to it. A lot of armchair quarterbacks have come out this week and given them a hard time about the fact Granberg got hurt. So you would think you would have an even quicker hook on McPhee. Granberg will be healthy and ready to go for the semifinal next Saturday. And Western up big at home to Windsor. Flag comes out as O'Neill will be brought down at the 21. This should be an illegal block against Laurier. Things did not start well for the Golden Hawks. When you're the team on the road, you're the 6th seed, you're looking for an upset. You need things to go perfect, and the opening kickoff went over Felix Odom's head. He conceded a single, and after Chris Patrician's 93-yard punt return touchdown, it's a low block against Laurier that will send them back 15. After Chris Patrician's 93-yard punt return, a little later in the first quarter, the Gaels were on their way, and Laurier was in trouble, and it's now 32-0. And special teams will be the big story of this one.
Now the major foul, they're marking off all the way back inside the Laurier 5-yard line, getting it scrimmage from the 3.
And Fracas stays in at quarterback. The youngster out of Waterloo. Pitch out, flag out. This is close to a safety. The Gaels defense wants a safety. I think they're going to say that he got out of the end zone. But what's the penalty? Is it offside against the Gaels, maybe? It is. So it'll move it up to the 7. So it'll be 1st and 5. Gaels, I think, were licking their chops there as a defense for a safety. And somebody got in too soon. So make it 1st and 5, Laurier.
Another Gael defender they're hoping to get back next week would be Andrew Liu. He's been out the past couple of games.
Makes a difference with their coverage. Out of the gun, Fracas immediately to his left. His receiver fell and couldn't make the catch. That was Peary. So it'll be 2nd and 5.
And if he had made the catch, TJ Chase Dunawa was there to give the lick.
So Loft checks in, Campbell checks out as Laurier switches receivers, I'm sure with plays to give Fracas. Clock running. There'll be under 8 minutes left, or close to 8 minutes after the completion of this play. Out of the gun is Fracas. Straight back, 2nd and 5. Throws. Incomplete. It was intended for Dell, but a little behind him. And Webster knocked it out as well. Good coverage by the Gaels. They're going to force another punt from Latouche. And we'll see if a safety is conceded by the Golden Hawks.
You're conceding 2 safeties in the first half.
Or will they just punt it away? It's into the wind. Wind has been pretty good clip all game. Latouche sure has the body language of someone that's not kicking this one away. And he's not. So it's another safety for the Gaels. Make it 34-0. 7:48 the time left in the game. And you could argue the point, Donnie, that the way this game has gone today, this week, almost becomes a bye week for the Gaels in the sense that Granberg will have had 2 weeks off. Granted, it was because of a concussion, but there's some guys that Lou will be completely healthy. Guelph won't have played a game for a couple of weeks.
Well, and the other thing that going back after that Guelph game, when you're looking for a silver lining, the Gaels having to play an extra game, hopefully not losing any players, but maybe starting to get a little bit of offensive momentum going here.
Handoff up the middle. Still Andrews fighting. Still Jesse Andrews. It's another Gaels first down as he picks up 11. And if nothing else, Don, they've got some depth now at running back. You could almost shuttle in Granberg, Andrews, and try and pound away at Guelph, because Guelph can obviously put points on the board. Their question this year has been, can they keep them off the board?
Jesse Andrews checking out is now coming in.
And what an afternoon. Over 120 yards. Low snap. McPhee scoops it up, and he'll just slide down. Take a 3-yard loss.
It's potentially Plumley. We're to number 30. Plumley listed as the backup halfback.
Whoever has replaced Jesse Andrews is not listed in your program, ladies and gentlemen, as number 30. Straight back to pass McPhee on 2nd and 13 as Aprile deep. And it goes incomplete. He tried to readjust to the ball, did Aprile. Aki was on the coverage, but Giovanni just couldn't make the catch, and the Gaels will punt it away.
Going back to the point we were making earlier, is the fact that the Gaels are, maybe needed almost a little extra game of seasoning here to just sort of fine-tune things on offense, and they've been able to do that going against one of the best rushing defenses. That they've done a good job on the ground, and then after they got things going in the first half, McPhee has had a very effective afternoon, 20 of 30, 220 yards and a touchdown.
And I think more importantly, Donnie, the Gaels haven't given Laurier any extra possessions. Walmsley, great punt. And straight ahead is number 27, Campbell. And he won't get much out of that return. He gets over the 25, maybe. 1st and 10, Laurier. Is it still Fracas in at quarterback?
And again, the job's done by the Gaels coverage team. And, you're not out-punting your coverage, as you mentioned earlier, which led to that patrician touchdown. But just a 41-yard punt, but a nice high punt, allowing the team to get downfield underneath it.
Fracas, who has gone pretty much the entire way after the first 3 series. Phantom had started but left the game. Back to pass, looking deep, has a man, intercepted by Chase Dunois.
And the pressure provided up front that time by Wigan, and forcing the ball to just float into the air, and Chase Dunois had a great afternoon. As we see the hit coming there, floats it, and then Chase Dunois able to make a nice athletic play, getting up high to make that pickoff at the 52.
And Fracas has a good arm, but a lot of his passes, Donnie, have been a little behind the receivers. That time it was behind number 32, Peary, but it was also into the wind. Laurier will definitely be a better team next year. They are very, very young. And there is talent at the Kitchener School. No question about it. And they've got a great coach in Gary Jeffrey. Pass, a prelay dragged down by Odom. It's a 4-yard gain, 2nd and 6.
Nice play by Odom, fighting through the block of Gleben, who's done a good job blocking downfield on both rushing and pass plays this afternoon.
McPhee comes out. Mitchell comes in. So McPhee's last play of the game is a completion.
And a nice move by the Gaels coaches, Pat Sheehan. They are allowing McPhee to run off to the applause of the fans.
And unfortunately for Coach Sheehan as well, and he expected it, some sarcastic cheers about McPhee being replaced at this point. Mitchell, he'll fire. Nice catch over the middle. That one by, if Aprile will get out of the way for me, Chapdelaine making the nice catch.
Mitchell on the regular season, 12 of 21, 110 yards and 1 touchdown, 3 of 5 for 29 in that earlier game against Laurier. Last year, of course, he was the starter in the game as McPhee was knocked out in the final game of the regular season, 23 of 38 for 272 yards in that matchup.
1st and 10, Mitchell, handoff to Plumley. Flag, this will come back for a hold, I'm sure. He gets to 35, it's a gain of 5.
The 7th penalty this afternoon for 70 yards against the Gaels. And really since that Guelph game, they've been getting up close to that sort of 80, 100-yard mark in penalties. And that was one of the keys, not just the turnovers, but penalties in that matchup 2 weeks ago against the Griffins, as the Gaels will be traveling down there again next week for the OU semi.
And again, both games will be on the score. This is our last broadcast of Queens football this year. Another great season for us, Donnie. We've been doing these games for years. Carroll with a nice catch. Tackled immediately. It's the 2nd and a bunch for the Gaels. Probably 2nd and 18 from the looks of things. They don't give Carroll really the forward progress I thought he would get. Gazendam checks in and takes out a prelay. Chapdelaine's done for the afternoon. McDonnell done for the afternoon. Patrician done for the afternoon.
Scott McDonnell, his first 100-yard receiving game as a Gale on 9 catches this afternoon. Corby and Carmichael now in.
Mitchell back to pass, looking deep, has Carmichael, and it's too far. 2 on the coverage. Odom and number 35, Prudhomme. And the Gaels will punt it away, but Mitchell showing off a pretty good arm there with the wind at his back.
So Dylan Walmsley on to punt the ball away for the 13th time this afternoon. He's averaged 36 yards a punt.
And that's pretty good considering he's had a few into a very strong breeze. 2 back, O'Neill and Campbell, end over end. Campbell takes it, tries to set up his blocks, and he'll get rocked down by Laporte.
Laporte has had a tremendous afternoon, not just in the regular base defense, but also on special teams.
Fracas back onto the field again at quarterback for Laurier.
As now the Gaels get a lot of their backup defenders in as Laporte and Sabourin come over to the sideline. Actually, Sabourin coming off a little bit gingerly as he sits down.
3:07 the time left in the game, so this should be the last play before the 3-minute warning, and it will be as the clock gets wound in. So at the 3-minute warning, we will chat a bit about what we expect the rest of the way in the playoffs, Donnie. It definitely looks like it's set for next week's OUA semifinals. Pass caught by Dell. It's a 5-yard gain. We get to the 2:47 left, so 3-minute warning coming. So it'll be Western Mac, rematch of last year's Yates Cup, Queens Guelph in the 2 semifinals.
And I think Queens really has a message that they want to send. They were very disappointed. You know, you talk about losses and then bad losses, you know, giving up a big lead.
Yep.
And that, you know, against a team that they really felt they were certainly much better than. Mistakes, interceptions. It was, you know, McPhee a good yardage game, but a lot of mistakes and missed receivers and interceptions in that game.
2nd and 5, Laurier. Fracas out of the gun. Straight back. Under pressure. Fires. Caught by the Touche. And he should have a first down. He's brought down, but not till he got to over the 30 to the 32. I think that I'm with you, Donnie. I think the Gaels can go into Guelph and win that game. And I think they will. And I also think, Mac, the one thing about the Marauders is they haven't been tested this year. And I think if Western, who is getting better, when you talk to people out of London, they say that team is starting to get better. Donnie Marshall's starting to throw the football. The offense is starting to click. I think if Western can put McMaster on its heels a little bit, that they got a shot. I'm going to say, as Fracas with a nice run, he'll pick up another Laurier first down, 2:20 time left in the game. I'm going to say the Yates Cup's coming here, in the sense that it's going to be Gaels Mustangs at Richardson Stadium. I think the Gaels win. I think they get another crack at Calgary. And I'm going to go out even further on a limb and say it's going to be a rematch of the Mitchell Bowl from 2009 at the Rogers Center. Gaels Laval. Beat that, my friend. And there's silence to your right. That doesn't happen very often. Fracas out of the gun on 1st and 10.
It's waiting for the final score in the Vanier Cup there, Bill. No, I certainly agree with you. Next week, you know, based on how they played the first game and how they really feel like they have some unfinished business with Guelph, I would be very surprised if the Gaels don't manage to make it into the Yates Cup final. And
What's your pick?
I think they're going to be on the road, and it's going to be the first time that they're going to have to win at McMaster Stadium. But I think they'll come away with it because the Gaels learned something, I think, about themselves in the second half of that MAC game. They were down big at the first half, but they almost staged a game-winning comeback there that they'll be able to beat back in the Yates Cup final.
Here come the Gaels after Fracas again under pressure. Oh, he got away. Nice work by James Fracas. Nailed from behind by number 94, Corey Dyer. So the sack is a big one, and Laurier will punt it away again. So what's your prediction? This is what this is about. I've gone out on the limb.
The Gaels in the last 3 decades have done very well going up against Calgary. I won't go back to 1983. Okay. That, of course, they lost that year in the Greg Vavre years.
Yes.
But
there's 1 minute 51 left in the game, not an hour.
The Gaels have done very well at the Vanier Cup in Sky Domes.
Yes.
Vanier Cup. Done very well at the Sky Dome in Vanier Cups, I guess, at Rogers Center, if you will.
They're 1-0. Yes.
They are. And however, I doubt that they're going to be shutting out the Laval Rouge et Or as they did back in 1992.
Yes. Latouche back to punt. We'll get back to the regularly scheduled orating of Mr. Lewis. Latouche. Oh, this one's going to get hung up in the wind. Caught by Carroll. Carroll straight up. Look out. Alex Carroll still going inside the Laurier 35 to the 33. Well, now back to Mr. Lewis.
After that Corey Dyer sack, I was about to call that first in Gananoque. And then,
your prediction?
as I said, that it'll be a Gale victory over Laval, as they've done very well in the Vanier Cup when they're playing at the Rogers Centre, formerly called the Skydome.
So,
of course,
guys in the truck, next year for our first broadcast, when we're right, replay this tape. If we are somehow mistaken, burn it. Burn the tape. All right, Gaels. Mitchell out of the gun. Minute 22, the time left. Handoff. Straight up the middle, close to a first down by Plumlee. So it'll be a gain of 8, 2nd and 2. And the Gaels content to just let things run. Now, let me throw this question out at you. If we are mistaken and it's not Gaels, who wins the Vanier?
I would not be surprised to see a rematch of last year. In that scene, McMaster taking on Laval. And that, I would certainly think, though, it's going to be, I would be very surprised if it's not the OU winner to win the Vanier this year. And that Laval have looked a little bit beatable, and not just the Montreal game they lost, but in a couple other games. Not necessarily the strongest team that they've been. And again, Calgary are going to have to come east for a couple games this year if they're going to want to move all the way through the playoffs. So.
I think that's my pick. I think this is a down year for Laval. I think this is the best shot Montreal's got to come out of Quebec is this year, because I don't think it's a very strong Laval team. I think it's Calgary. I really do. I think I feel very strongly that Western can go into Hamilton and beat McMaster. Nice cutback by Plumlee. Picks up 7. Did he fumble? He did. Laurier got the ball. So with 35.6 seconds left, the Gaels commit their first turnover after a nice run by Plumlee. And Odom holds the ball up and needs to take a look at the scoreboard.
And just a reminder that after the Yates Cup, it'll be the Mitchell Bowl, which will be held at the home of the OU winner.
OU does not leave the province.
As the Canada West winner will come here. Of course, the last time the Gaels took on a Canada West team, they were down rather big at halftime at Pep Stadium in Laval in 2009. But then coming back, it was a Danny Brannigan pass to Devon Sheehan early in the second half. Keyed a big Gale comeback as they held on for that 33-31 thrilling victory in a very cold and windy Pep Stadium in Laval for their last Vanier Cup 3 years ago.
And that's why they say that McMaster has a really good shot at repeating this year, because McMaster doesn't have to leave the GTA the rest of the season. They've got the home game next week. They win that. They're at home again for the Yates Cup. They win that. They're home for the Mitchell Bowl. And then it's just down the QEW to Rogers Centre for the Vanier Cup. And Quebec champion will go out east.
Right now it looks as though Acadia, the strongest team out there.
And again, it could be Montreal. Montreal has beaten Laval in Montreal in the regular season the last 2 years, but they can't seem to win against the Rouge et Or when they go to Quebec City. First down, Laurier. And you're talking about Laurier, you've got to like the play of James Fracas. All the talk in the preseason was about Laurier's quarterback, number 9, Travis Eamon, who had been down south of the border. But James Fracas, the grandson of the late Gino Fracas, looks like he might be a player. And it's a great Gaels defense that has sort of made life tough for the rookie. Good throw there again, complete to Campbell.
As Fracas is now up over 100 yards passing through the air. Laurier now up to 178 yards in total offense here this afternoon.
And I don't remember, Donnie, a game that we've done in a while where special teams was so glaringly the deciding factor. Gaels returned to punt for a touchdown. Opening kickoff was misjudged by Laurier for a single point. They've had a bunch of punt safeties that they've had to give up. Field position has definitely swung because of the punting game. It's been a while since we've seen such a disparity in a football game on that facet of the game.
And not to go down memory lane, but I think maybe the biggest special teams play before this for the Gaels, you go all the way back to that national semifinal in the Vanier Cup year, is a Jimmy Allen return of a missed field goal, about a 120-yard return.
And then a fumble on the ensuing kickoff by Laval was really the key, as you said. Fracas. Latouche hit immediately. Gets dragged down.
Chase Dunois once again. And I think people like TJ Chase Dunois, Stephen Laporte have had some tremendous defensive games here this afternoon.
And for next week, the Gaels should get Andrew Liu back. How much better does the secondary become?
Well, and you finally get, they've been shuffling players from safety to halfback to cornerback throughout the season. And a great job done by Pat Tracy, as the Gaels have had the top pass defense in the conference this season.
Last play was out of bounds, so the clock will start on the snap. Fracas out of the gun on 2nd and 11. Straight back to pass. Gaels coming again over the middle. Caught after bobbled by Campbell. It'll be short of the first down by 2. Laurier will go for it on 3rd and 2. And other than the special teams, a 3rd and 1 gamble in the first quarter by Laurier will come under fire for head coach Gary Jeffries. Laurier didn't get it from their 35. Gaels scored a touchdown shortly after to make it.
And a true prevent defense here. If you have Justin Chapdelaine and Giovanni Aprile back as the 2 deep free safeties.
Clock running, so this should be the last play of the game, barring a penalty. Fracas out of the gun on 3rd and 2. Steps up, under pressure, still running, will throw. It'll be caught. There's a flag thrown. This might be offensive pass interference.
I wonder if it might be actually a late hit. They may be trying to flag Luke Ball on. However, the flag came from deep in the secondary.
I don't think it's a late hit. I think this is interference on either Chase Dunois or Laurier, and it's going to be
illegal man downfield.
Illegal man downfield. It'll be declined by the Gaels, and this one's in the books. A quarterfinal win of 34-0. Queens over Laurier. And Donnie, our last broadcast, but the Gaels head into the semifinal with some nice momentum.
Exactly, and no injuries. I think it's one of the other keys. And as we were saying earlier, you're going to get people like, hopefully, like Ryan Granberg, Josh Princeton, and Andrew Liu back for the OU semi next weekend at Guelph.
So the Gaels win this one 34-0. They led 22-0 at halftime and coasted the rest of the way. Special teams, the key in this one. Another great year of TVCogeco Gaels football. Thanks to everyone with TVCogeco, led by Steve Herron and all the great volunteers that help him out to bring these fantastic broadcasts to you. And for Donnie Lewis, I'm Bill Miklas. We'll talk to you next fall, and hopefully we'll be talking about the defending national champions, Queens Gaels. They win their quarterfinal game over the Laurier Golden Hawks, 34-0. We'll talk to you in 2013.